Alright guys, welcome to another bonus episode of SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. Now this video is going to be covering the alternate cutscenes or choices in the season mode. So this video was quite a tough task to map out and determine how I want to do this. This actually took me quite a while. So basically, just let me explain first what exactly this video is, just to be clear. So I'm covering the alternate endings, choices, cutscenes, WWE.com articles, WWE magazines, of the stuff we did not initially see in my playthrough of the storyline. So if we already saw it when I played through the storylines just normally, it will not be covered here. So this video is not like every single choice in the game for every storyline. It's just the ones we did not see in my playthrough. Now, of course, you might be thinking, how on earth did you pull this off? And let me just say this was quite the task. And I just want to preface here by saying, some people might not care about some things in this video because it's just like, you know, different WWE.com articles, different magazines, stuff like that, which is just me reading text essentially, right? So I will have the chapter set up if you want to just jump around and see certain things in the storyline, for sure. So I don't really know how long this video is going to turn out to be, but let me just talk about the process of making this video. So I actually wrote 4 pages of stuff I need to capture after going through and testing every storyline, every outcome, and all that. And I really want to call this video probably like 99% of the alternate stuff we did not see in my playthrough, because I'm sure there's like a couple text messages or voice messages that I missed. I tried to be pretty thorough here, and I mostly tried to draw the line at stuff that was unique to the choices, for sure. So yeah, and like I said, when I first played this video, I was playing on console and like constantly getting up to the certain storylines I needed to test things, and then I quickly realized this is going to take me months to do if I, like, you know, am playing through normally in the storyline, skipping matches to get up to the storyline. So I had to come up with a new plan. I essentially had to mess around with the game, and I had to essentially figure out how to force the game to load specific storylines, specific chapters, and stuff like that. And with that, I think I kind of made some interesting discoveries, because I don't think this is kind of one of the things in this video I don't think it's been documented online. So when I am forcing certain storylines to load, I basically wrote a table here of the values of every storyline. Like, there's some interesting stuff. Like, there's a duplicate copy of the United We Stand storyline that doesn't work and it's like broken, so not sure what that's all about, if it's like a removed storyline or what's up with that. And like the GM of the Year award ceremony is technically a storyline you can force to load, as well as the SmackDown and Raw trades, like when you're in the GM office. So I thought that was interesting. You get to see the title cards for those, because normally you can't even see those in game. Yeah, but like I said, the memory editing definitely helped. But let me let me just be clear, this still took forever, man. Rough times, but like I said, this is something I really wanted to do, and I don't know how much people are going to care about, but I really wanted to do this for my playthrough, and I think it hopefully turned out pretty good here. I'm recording this intro after I've already captured all the footage, because I wanted to make sure like I knew what I was going to cover here. But yeah, I guess that's really all I have to say. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into our first storyline. Alright, so the first storyline we're going to be covering in this video is Keepin It Real. So I think the approach I'm kind of going to take on doing this is, you're not going to hear me talking over every little thing, because a lot of this stuff is like audio specific stuff. I'm just going to skip this because this cutscene isn't relevant. A lot of audio stuff here, and kind of like I said in the intro, I'm choosing to include a lot of like the voicemails that I feel like are important to the story. So obviously I'm not going to talk over those, but some clips you might hear me jump in before, just to get a little bit more context if there's like multiple choices and things of that nature. But in general, in the YouTube chapter feature, I should have a description of each thing. So really with this storyline, all I want to touch on really is the opposite choice of what I did. So before, I chose not to forgive Tori Wilson in this storyline. There's slightly different things if you choose to forgive her. And then another thing you're going to be seeing in a lot of these storylines is the alternate outcome of losing the title match in the storylines or dropping the title. That way you get different magazine articles, WWE.com articles, stuff like that. So you're going to be seeing a lot of those, but here we go. This is Keepin It Real, the alternate stuff we didn't get to see before. Okay, so that was choosing to forgive Cena, which gives you slightly different voicemails regarding with Tori, so I'm going to present them here.
Hey, it's Tori. Listen, I feel like we need to talk about how you don't seem to have much time for me these days. It seems like you always choose your career over me. Is that why you broke our last 2 dates? I bet a lot of other superstars manage to balance their personal and professional lives. John Cena always seems to have time for the people who matter to him, like the fans. And I hope this doesn't have anything to do with what happened with John after our match last week. I thought you two worked that out. Not that there was anything that needed to be worked out, of course. I'll try you later, I guess.
Okay, and then the context of this voicemail is after Tori cheats on you with Cena. This is if you chose to forgive Cena, she gives a slightly different reaction.
Hi, it's me. I don't blame you for not answering your phone. I guess you know about me and John. It's not the way I wanted to break the news to you, but what's done is done. I'm sorry, but he's the kind of man I want to be with. The kind of man who makes time for me and pays attention to my needs. I hope we can still be friends, but I understand if that's difficult for you right now. I'll see you later.
Okay, and here's what happens if you lose the WWE Championship to Shawn Michaels. Again, this is a 2-month-long story, so this would be at the end of month 1 if you lost to Shawn. Now, kind of like, like I said in the intro, this is mostly a dialogue thing. Obviously, a lot of these aren't going to be different animations, just dialogue, but I figured I'd include it.
Shawn Michaels is once again the WWE Champion. He said all along that market research and yes ratings be damned. He deserves to be the #1 contender, and you're looking at him now with a title in hand. You can't argue his point.
I hate to admit that HBK was right about anything, JR, but he is going to Wrestlemania. Too bad for our former champion. If he wants to go to the biggest sports entertainment event of the year, it looks like he's going to have to buy a ticket to get in.
Alright, and then this is going to be choosing to forgive Tori here.
Oh my god, are you okay? I saw what John Cena did to you tonight, and I couldn't believe it. Look, I didn't want to admit it, but I think I made a huge mistake when I chose him over you. He's been a big jerk ever since he lost his title opportunity. I think he was just using me to get to you. Anyway, I think you've got no reason to take me back, but I really hope you'll think about it. You're the only man for me, and I see that now. Call me soon, please.
Alright, then this is the follow-up voicemail you get for choosing to forgive Tori Wilson, and then she'll be your manager for the next match. But I do want to point out, either way, she still ends up betraying you, so really the only difference I want to cover here is the voicemail.
Hi, I just wanted to tell you that I haven't been so happy since the first time we got together. I made a mistake, and believe me, it'll never happen again. I'm psyched that I'm going to be ringside watching you kick John Cena's ass in a non-title match tonight, and then again this Sunday at Wrestlemania. I can't wait. Bye.
Ask this woman. She get more fight from the plummeting in bed.
No, not like this. Not like this. You can't tell me that all of Cena's reprehensible behavior is going to be rewarded with a WWE title victory at WrestleMania. I know I'm supposed to be completely objective here, but it's not right, damn it. It's just not right at all.
Well, right or not, that's exactly what happened here tonight, JR.
Alright, there you go. So that's what happens if John Cena wins the title at WrestleMania. Now, this also includes a magazine article, so we're going to go ahead and check that out. I'll go ahead and read it here. The champ is here. So, what you'll notice about these magazine articles is, sometimes they get a lot of different pictures depending on the outcome. It's pretty cool. Some of the text is slightly different. It depends. We're going to be covering the ones I feel are interesting. So, here we go. The champ is here, a WrestleMania to remember. Every Raw superstar knows that WrestleMania is the greatest sports entertainment event of the year. It's a venue where, put quite simply, careers are made and superstars transcend to legends. And this year was no exception. In a last man standing match for the WWE title, John Cena defeated Carlito, capping off one of the most brutal feuds in WWE history. The seeds of their rivalry were sown more than a month before WrestleMania when Cena and Carlito's now estranged girlfriend, Tori Wilson, were caught in what appeared to be an amorous moment together in Stephanie McMahon's own office. That incident cost Cena, then the #1 contender, based on both in-ring skill and mass marketability, his WWE title opportunity. However, Cena would return with a vengeance and what could only be called a significant attitude adjustment. Serious, focused, and deadly, Cena made 3 attempts on Carlito's well-being. an attempted chair shot that injured a self-sacrificing Shawn Michaels, a pre-match attack with a steel chain, and a post-match assault with the WWE title itself. I know Carlito thinks he's keeping it real, but I've proved he's just a punk this season. He wouldn't survive 5 minutes from where I'm from, and I'm surprised he lasted as long as he did against me at WrestleMania, but there's no way I was going to leave the big dance without the gold. And now Carlito and every other champ in the locker room knows that the champ is here. There you go. So that was our first different magazine we're going to be covering. It's going to be a lot of those. It's going to be hit or miss. Hopefully I can read them without any mistakes, but I'm not going to really, read it over and over again until I get it right. But there you go. That was Keeping It Real, the stuff we didn't get to see. Okay, next story we're going to be covering here is Conflict of Interest. Now, the alternate things we didn't get to see before here are essentially basically losing the title, which is going to be a thing we're going to be seeing with a lot of these stories. So, this is a 2-month-long story, so you could potentially lose the title in the first month at Backlash to Triple H. And the second month, you either face Triple H or Edge, depending on the path you take. So, I'll be showing the alternate voicemails and outcomes for both of those. So, let's get into it. Alright, so this is what happens if Triple H wins the title at Backlash. Obviously when he puts himself in the title match. So this is what happens. The story will end. This is the first month. So if you fail to defend your title, this is what happens.
Well, there you have it. Triple H has stolen another WWE title reign here tonight at Backlash, and it makes me sick.
Wait, what do you mean stole, JR? That sure looked like a clean victory to me.
You know what I mean, King. He abused his position as general manager to put himself into the title match with the champion at almost no time to prepare for it.
Well, you and the ex-champion can cry over all the spilled milk you want, but Triple H has proven once again that he's the greatest superstar in all of sports entertainment.
And then you can see, obviously, it still has the issue where certain cutscenes, the commentary cuts off because a lot of them are shared generic cutscenes, so they don't always line up, which is really annoying thing. I discussed this in my playthrough, but with Triple H winning the title, you also get an alternate magazine ending, so I'll go ahead and read that real quick. Full-time champ. Triple H to step down as general manager. After winning the WWE title tonight at Backlash, Triple H has announced that he will step down as interim GM of Raw. I spoke with Vince and we agreed that the demands of being the WWE champion won't allow me to continue devoting the necessary time and energy to being Raw's general manager, he says. In light of recent events, Mr. McMahon is expected to end his vacation and return to WWE as soon as possible. As Triple H steps down, it is speculated that Raw will continue to exist without a full-time general manager, but instead have its day-to-day operations run by and large by the McMahon family. And that's it. That's actually probably the shortest magazine in the game. But there you go. So if you actually lose to Triple H at Backlash, the story ends. But now we're going to cut back to the second month of this story. Okay, and here is the voicemail Edge sends you before Backlash if he's the one to get the title shot instead of Triple H.
Finally, I get my shot at the WWE title. I've waited too long and fought too hard for this. If I were you, I wouldn't even show up tonight at Vengeance, because you're gonna get the education of a lifetime. I'm walking out of Vengeance as the WWE champ, and there's not a damn thing you or anyone else can do about it.
Alright, so here is Edge winning the WWE Championship at Vengeance. And this one also includes a magazine, so I'll throw that in there as well.
You think you know me?
What a crushing blow for the WWE champion to come all this way only to lose the title here tonight.
You mean ex-champion? I knew he didn't have what it took to hold on to that title. He gave everything he had in that ring, and he still came up short.
I couldn't disagree more, King. I think he was a great champion, but it just wasn't his night. Yes, his championship reign may be over, but I have to think he'll be back in the title mix sooner than later.
Alright, and here is the magazine if Edge wins. Feeling the vengeance. Look at Edge right there. Taz falls victim at Vengeance. Over the past several weeks, Taz endured drastic management changes on Raw. Matches against some of the greatest superstars in this business. And a lot of tenacious challengers who would stop at nothing to win the WWE Championship. All of them took their toll on the WWE Champion, who was unable to successfully defend his title in a grueling match at Vengeance. As far as I'm concerned, I was set up to fail by Vince McMahon, says Taz. Between Triple H's behind-the-scenes political power plays and Edge's ambush, both of which Vince allowed to happen, by the way, there was no way I was going to come out on top at Vengeance. Well, I hope Vince is happy, because we must know deep down that the man wearing the WWE title now isn't half the champion I was. WWE Chairman Mr. McMahon bristled at Taz's suggestion that somehow he sabotaged his title reign. Taz obviously didn't understand that being WWE Champion means you have to deal with challenges and threats from all comers. And if Triple H and Edge were too much for him to handle, then it seemed clear to me that he probably wasn't championship material to begin with. No. Yo, rip Taz. Alright, here's the magazine if you lose to Triple H instead of Edge at Vengeance. It's the exact same thing, just the picture's different, so I'm not going to bother reading this, but there you go. That was conflict of interest. Okay, so next story we're going to be covering is Behind Every Great Man. Really only one thing to cover in this, and that's losing to Big Show at Unforgiven, because a lot of the stuff beforehand is predetermined, so you get to the same path either way. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so here is Big Show winning the WWE Championship at Unforgiven.
And there you have it, folks. The Big Show is the new WWE Champion. Although in some circles, it will be felt that justice has not been served tonight, the Big Show earned his new title fair and square.
I told you, you better not ever bet against the Big Show. I'm only surprised the match went as long as it did.
Well, speaking for myself, I can't say this result sits right. Still, I'm guessing that the former champ, although not victorious here at Unforgiven, will be back in the title picture sooner than later.
This must be so painful for poor Trish.
There you go, of course, the classic. You hear me complain about this all day. Commentary is too long for the animation. They just did not care. And then here we go. So along with Big Show winning the title, this also includes a magazine, so we'll go ahead and check that out real quick, and that's going to be it for the Behind Every Great Man storyline. Or I guess it's a WWE.com article, not magazine, my bad. Long road ends in defeat for Mr. Perfect at Unforgiven. Tonight at Unforgiven, Mr. Perfect failed to win back the WWE title that many feel was unjustly taken from him nearly 2 months ago after a disputed finish to a ladder match on Raw in which Trish Stratus tried to claim the title for Chris Masters. Mr. Perfect found himself in a triple threat match for the vacant title at SummerSlam. Following an attack with the title belt and the betrayal of Masters, Trish Stratus stole the WWE title and falsely declared herself the first female WWE champion in history. The following week on Raw, Stephanie McMahon reclaimed the WWE title, but allowed Trish to name the superstar who would face Perfect for it at Unforgiven. Trish revealed the choice to the world the following week, The Big Show. Over the next several weeks, Big Show did his best to make life hell for his opponent, interfering in his match against Snitsky and ambushing him in the parking lot. These attacks obviously took their toll on Perfect and allowed the Big Show to beat him for the WWE title in one of the biggest pay-per-view main events in recent history. WWE.com was able to reach out for Big Show for a short comment following his match. If you're expecting me to apologize for what I did to Perfect or Trish or anyone else, forget about it. I came here for one goal, to leave with the WWE title, and that's exactly what I did. Okay, so next story to cover is Re-Volution. Okay, first thing to show off here, this is the voicemail you get from Triple H if you actually lose to Randy Orton on SmackDown.
Embarrassing yourself last week against Orton was a new low. But because I'm such a nice guy, I'm gonna give you another chance. You beat Batista over there on SmackDown, and I'll give you your choice of match at WrestleMania. That's a better deal than you deserve. But what the hell? I want to see the animal humiliated, and I don't feel like getting my hands dirty.
Okay, and here's what happens if Triple H is the one to win at WrestleMania.
Well, he gave it everything he had, but in the end, he just got outplayed by the game. There's no shame in that.
I guess that depends on your outlook, King. Triple H is a formidable champion without question. but I have to say, his methods are clearly controversial.
That might be true, JR, but be that as it may, next time somebody's got a title opportunity against Triple H, maybe they shouldn't be so quick to do the champion's dirty work for him.
Nonetheless, what an amazing WrestleMania this has been. I can't wait for next year, and I know these men can't either.
All right, and that also includes a magazine, so let's check that out. Playing the game. Look at Triple H. The game plays Psychosis at Mania. Triple H has been long known as a cerebral assassin, a superstar who lets nothing stand between him and ultimate success in the sports entertainment industry. And he proved it once again at WrestleMania when he defeated Psychosis to retain the WWE title in front of millions of fans worldwide. Psychosis thought he was going to get the advantage over me by taking out Orton and Batista, says Triple H. What he obviously failed to realize is that I trained both of those guys, and they might not be two of my favorite people, but you don't spend that much time with the greatest superstar alive today without picking up a few tricks. Also, Psychosis did was wear himself out and prove that he's not tough enough or smart enough to wear the WWE title around his waist. I've got to give Triple H's props, says Batista. He sent Psychosis right into the lion's den and gave me and Randy Orton a hell of a fight. And he's not stupid either. He knows that as long as he's got the WWE title, he better keep himself on Raw if he knows what's good for him. I'm not the only guy on SmackDown who would love a chance to steal Raw's top title away. And if he ever shows his face on Friday nights, that's exactly what's going to happen. Okay, next story is going to be the Angle Invitational. Okay, so first thing to cover in this is what happens if you lose in the actual tournament. So I'm going to show you real quick. It's actually kind of funny. As you can see, the story simply just ends. So there's no cutscene or anything. It just kicks you back here and it's going to load up the next story. So I figured I'd include that just because it's kind of funny. Yeah, if you lose in the tournament, it's over. Okay, and the only other thing to cover in this storyline is the magazine if you lose to Kurt Angle at Vengeance. Now you might be thinking, what about like the post-match celebration if you lose to Kurt? Well, there's no commentary. He just celebrates with the title and they don't say anything, so I'm not even going to bother including it. But here you go. Here's the magazine if you lose to Kurt Angle at Vengeance. Vengeance denied. Jillian Hall denied revenge at Vengeance. You might not respect his methods, but there's no doubt that Kurt Angle pulled out all the stops in his successful quest to retain the WWE title at Vengeance. After declaring he would face the winner of a #1 contenders tournament, Angle stacked the deck publicly supporting Chris Masters while secretly endorsing Shelton Benjamin, who earned Jillian Hall's trust before betraying her. Shelton Benjamin, Chris Masters, Kurt Angle. They're all 3 or more names in the list of guys who knew they couldn't stop me one-on-one, says Jillian Hall. So they had to gang up and take me down. And I expected Angle and Masters to pull that sort of garbage that they pulled, but Shelton disappointed me. I thought he was better than that. What's she mean, better than that, says Benjamin, in reaction to Jillian Hall's statement. Let me tell you something. Kurt Angle proved who was better than who at Vengeance, and he got there with my help, and if Jillian keeps running her mouth like that, I've got no problem shutting it down for her. She's a loser, and she better learn to deal with it. There you go. By the way, I was supposed to play as Boogeyman for this footage, but I typed in the wrong number when I was doing the editing, so I just let it ride, so that's why it was Jillian Hall, but there you go. That was the Angle Invitational. Alright, next story to cover is Elimination. Okay, so just 2 things to cover in this storyline. So one is choosing to team up with Cena instead of facing him. Now, really, I'm just including this. There's really no point. Like, I was debating just getting rid of this footage or not, but if you watch my original playthrough, I chose to face Cena, but the alternate option is you team up with him, which is option 1 here. So team up with John Cena against Big Show and Snitsky in a tag team match. The winners of the match enter the chamber at 5 and 6, while the losers get 1 and 2. So team up with Cena. There you go. So it doesn't change any like cutscenes or anything, but I figured I'd just include that real quick. As you can see here, it generates this different match. Instead of going one-on-one with Cena, you're teaming up with them. Alright, then the last thing to cover in this storyline is the magazine if you actually lose the Elimination Chamber match. Elimination. Michael Cole fails to eliminate WWE title competition. In a grueling 6-man Elimination Chamber match, Michael Cole hoped to emerge victorious, surviving 5 of Raw's top superstars to capture the most prestigious prize in all of sports entertainment, the WWE Championship. However, it was not to be. I thought that nothing was going to stop me from leaving Unforgiven with the title, says Michael Cole. But look at the other superstars I was in there with. The Big Show, Snitsky, Edge, HBK, the winner of the first ever Chamber match, and John Cena, the WWE Champion. I left it all in the ring, and I don't have any regrets about not coming out on top against those kinds of odds. Shane McMahon was impressed with Michael Cole's showing at Unforgiven and believes it's only a matter of time before Cole is back in the hunt for the WWE title. Tell you the truth, I thought he was going to go all the way, but he had a couple of unlucky breaks and the cards just didn't fall right for him. But sooner or later, he's going to wind up facing the WWE Champion one-on-one, and let me tell you, that's a match I can't wait to see. So there you go, that was the magazine if you lose. Obviously, there could be, like, you know, multiple different winners of that match, so they just kind of make a generic magazine like, oh, you didn't do it, but there you go. That was Elimination. Okay, next story to cover is going to be Taking on the Show. Okay, so major thing to talk about with the Taking on the Show storyline is the alternate path of choosing to side with Big Show instead of Chavo and Carlito, or as, you know, if you watch my video, the lead pipe gangs I call them, but here you go.
Hey, what's up, Holmes? Chavo here. I guess you had to learn your lesson the hard way, huh? You think you're going to be able to convince Big Show that you're not with us? You better think again. So what are you going to do? You want to team up with us and take him out once and for all? Or are you going to keep getting yourself chokeslammed?
Alright, so here's Chavo's offer, and then you can join with them, which is what I did when I played this. Or you can try to reason with Big Show, explain things with him. I'm not looking to get chokeslammed again, but there's no way I'm tuning up for those jerks. There you go. That puts us in a whole new path, so I'll go ahead and cover the differences here. Alright, and then you get a couple different messages as well.
This is Carlito, and you just made the biggest mistake of your career, my friend. Tonight, Daivari and Chavo are gonna teach you what happens to anyone who crosses us. Just like your pal Big Show learned 2 weeks ago.
By the way, I love this Daivari at the subject. You idiot!
Kalepuk! Man Daivariam! فکر میکنی میتونی به من بگی نه؟ اگه شما به بیگ شو فکر میکنی من کارلوس یه چاو دست بزنی خودت خر خدا هستی.
I mean, he brings up a pretty good point if you really think about it, but there you go. So let's go ahead and go into the alternate, like, cutscenes and stuff now. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and include some of the alternate commentary you get on your entrances. So obviously we're on a different path now where we're aligning ourselves with Big Show. So we're going to go ahead and check out some of those.
You know, Carlito and Daivari and Chavo have been going on and on about strength in numbers, but Big Show's got some pretty impressive numbers all by himself. 7 feet tall and 500 pounds.
You got that right, King. And I've got to believe that the Big Show can't wait to throw giant mitts of his on Chavo and Daivari after all the grief they've given the Big Show.
Well, JR, I have to say that I'm still not convinced that his so-called partner isn't still working with Chavo and Daivari behind the scenes. Big Show could be walking right into another trap.
Okay, now we'll check out some of the alternate commentary and entrances when you are in the handicap match the next week against Chavo and Carlito. Now this also has an alternate cutscene when the match ends, but it plays regardless if you win or lose, so we'll check that out too.
You know, I'm glad to see that there's some sense of camaraderie here on Raw, and that Carlito and Chavo are standing up for their friend. That's very cool in my book.
I think your book might be missing a few pages, King. It was Big Show who injured Daivari, and he's not even involved in this match tonight.
Look, JR, Carlito's grieving right now. And I have to say, I think it's pretty tasteless of you to question his motives when he's still so upset about Daivari.
I spit in the face.
Boy, I bet he's starting to think that he's backed the wrong horse. Choosing Big Show over Carlito's crew sure has put him in a tough spot tonight.
Well, tough or not, I'm sure he has no regret about his choice of allies, King. I have to believe that he'd rather back a thoroughbred like the Big Show rather than a bunch of jackasses like Carlito, Chavo, and Daivari. He may take his lump, but at least he's taking the high road to get there.
Hey, Carlito, Chavo. Next week on Raw, we have a no DQ tornado tag team match to settle this once and for all.
Wait, Big Show can't just make a match like that. That's management's job.
I don't think there's any way management would pass up an opportunity for a match like this, King. This one's got dollar signs written all over it.
Alright, so same thing. We'll check out this alternate commentary on the entrances.
These two have the look of a couple of men who've just eaten their last meal, been read their last rites, and are waiting for the governor to call. They could be having a case of the limber tail.
I can't believe this is actually happening. This isn't a match, it's an execution. They've been forced into a no disqualification tornado tag team match against two of the toughest superstars on Raw.
I don't think that anyone's going to make me feel sympathetic towards Chavo and Carlito. But if anything could, this would be it.
Look at the Big Show. I talked to him earlier today, and he told me that he was really looking forward to this match. He says he's got big plans for his opponents tonight.
All of the Big Show's plans are big, King. He wanted to get his giant hands with Carlito and Chavo for a long time, and he's just moments away from getting his wish. Well, he's taken his lumps from every other superstar in this match over the past month. But when the smoke cleared, I think he made the smart decision when he chose to side with the Big Show.
Sure, gang up against the little guy. Anyone looks like a tough guy when they've got the Big Show watching their back.
King, why don't you just admit that Carlito's plan of strength in numbers didn't exactly go as planned?
I think the only numbers on Carlito's mind now are 7 feet, 500 pounds of angry Big Show. Plus, the pound of flesh this man wants his payback. I have a feeling this one's going to be brutal.
Okay, so here's winning the tornado tag match with Big Show as your ally.
Oh my gosh, JR. I can't remember the last time I saw something so brutal. I don't think there's a doubt in anyone's mind who came out ahead here.
I have to agree, King. And after what we just witnessed, I don't think we'll have to worry about Carlito stirring the trouble around here again for a long time. What a match, and what a way to end Raw.
And then here's the magazine. Bigger is better. There's an old expression, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. That's what had to be going through the mind of Carlito when he hatched a plan to bring down the Big Show. But the cliche turned out to be an empty promise as the Giant won clear victories over Carlito and his allies, Chavo Guerrero and Daivari. With the help of Lita, Show stood tall over the would-be Giant Killers in one of the biggest Raw main events in recent history, proving the concept of strength in numbers was equally flawed. I don't know what the hell Carlito was thinking coming after me, says Big Show. I understand that when you're one of the biggest superstars on the brand, there's a lot of room for a target on your back, but seriously, Carlito, Daivari, Chavo? I've eaten meals bigger than those punks. I'm not scared of anyone or anything, says Lita, but when the Big Show first saw I was with Carlito's crew, I knew I had to do some serious explaining and fast. I'm not saying that I could have held my own against him, but I will say that he's the kind of guy you want to have on your side, not as an enemy. Okay, and here's Carlito and Chavo winning the no disqualification tornado tag match.
You got to be kidding me! Carlito and Chavo win! What an upset!
Of course they did. Everyone doubted them, but I knew all along there was something to that strength in numbers thing.
Well, either way, I'd be surprised if those two push their luck any farther than can be. If they know what's good for them, they'll walk out of here with that win tonight and leave it at that.
Alright, here's the magazine. This one may be similar to my original run where you go against Big Show and beat him. Let's see real quick. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. Giant killers. If the old expression is true, though, then no one will ever take a bigger fall than the Big Show did recently on Raw. Thanks to the efforts of Carlito and his allies Chavo and Daivari, after failing to draft Lita into their gang, the trio repelled the Big Show's angry rampage, which left Daivari in the hospital, and Carlito and Chavo to face Big Show and Lita in a Tornado Tag Team match. But the damage inflicted by the three giant killers over the previous weeks obviously took their toll on the largest superstar in history, leaving him unable to fend off their relentless assault. Carlito had it right all along, says Chavo. Strength in numbers. He drilled that into our heads over and over. I have to admit, when he told me what he had planned, I thought he was crazy. But now, thanks to him, I've gotten a victory over the Big Show and Lita to my name. When's the last time you heard someone say that? Being in that match was our moment of truth, says Carlito. Nobody thought we could do it, but I knew my plan was solid. None of us have taken out the Big Show single-handedly. We may have had trouble with his little friend, too. But Chavo and Daivari did everything I told them to, and now you're talking to the man who beat the Big Show. How cool is that? Okay, so here's what happens if you choose to go against Big Show, but end up losing the one-on-one match with him at the end of the story on Raw.
Ladies and gentlemen, I can't remember the last time I witnessed a match as brutal as what we've just seen here tonight.
This match was almost as ugly as the guy who won it.
Careful what you say, Keane, or you might wind up in that cage with Big Show next week.
Alright, so here's the magazine if Big Show basically beats the Lead Pipe Gang here, waking an angry giant. It's slightly different, we'll check it out here. So, bigger is better. There's an old expression, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. That's what had to be going through the mind of Lita when she faced the Big Show in a steel cage match on Raw recently. But the cliche turned out to be an empty promise, as the angry giant won a clear victory, standing tall over the would-be giant killer in one of the biggest Raw main events in recent history. With the defeat of Lita, Big Show also proved the concept of strength in numbers was equally flawed, having destroyed Lita's allies Daivari, Carlito, and Chavo Guerrero in previous weeks. I don't know what the hell Carlito was thinking coming after me, says Big Show. I understand that when you're the biggest superstar in the brand, there's a lot of room for a target on your back. But seriously, Carlito, Daivari, Chavo, I've eaten meals bigger than these punks. Lita was quick to distance herself from her former partners as soon as the match was over. I never wanted to be part of Carlito's plan, she says. I stuck with them because I didn't think there was any way I could convince the Big Show that I wasn't with them. I took my lumps in that steel cage, and now I just hope the Big Show is satisfied because it's going to be a long damn time before I want to get anywhere near that guy. Alright, next storyline is going to be cleaning up Raw. Here's some alternate dialogue if Lita beats Trish on Raw.
Trish's freedom of expression get taken away, especially freedom of the press. Oh, I'd love for her to press that beautiful body up against
King, for the love of God, will you stop right there? Let's go back to what the outcome of this match actually means. With Lita and Angle having earned a major victory here tonight.
And another scam where it doesn't finish. Thank you, you. Okay, so here's Kurt Angle winning the Ultimate Submission match.
Wrestlemania, the grandest stage of them all. I fear we may have seen a great injustice served. We may look back at tonight's events as the first victory toward censorship and political correctness here on Raw.
And here's the magazine that goes with losing to Kurt Angle in the Ultimate Submission match. Cleaning up Raw. Raw has officially been cleaned up, folks. Stephanie McMahon vetoes the First Amendment. After a resounding defeat of Ric Flair at the hands of Kurt Angle in their Ultimate Submission match at WrestleMania, Stephanie McMahon's campaign to eradicate filth and exploitation from Raw has seen a major obstacle removed from its path. And while the billion-dollar princess and her associates Kurt Angle and Lita might see that as a good thing, they're in the minority among the Raw superstar. Raw is all about taking risks and not doing what's politically correct, says Women's Champion Trish Stratus, who vainly attempted to stand in the way of Stephanie's agenda. And obviously there are going to be people who don't appreciate that or misunderstand it, but that doesn't mean that they should be able to just tell the rest of us how to think and behave. And while that may be true, there doesn't seem to be anyone left on Raw who appears to be able to put a stop to it. We're not going to change things overnight, says a proud and confident Stephanie McMahon. There are a lot of battles left to be fought, but we've seen some major early victories, and I couldn't be more proud of the fact that our biggest one came at WrestleMania. We sent a message to the entire Raw locker room that the time is coming for change, and anyone who stands in our way will be dealt with. There you go, that was cleaning up Raw, the alternate choices and stuff. Okay, so the next storyline would be high and dry, but there's basically nothing to cover in the storyline, so we're going to go ahead and skip this one. Okay, next storyline to cover is Frame. Alright, so with the Frame storyline, basically what the cover here is these alternate choices that lead to some different WWE.com articles, dialogue, commentary, things of that nature. So when I originally played, I did the Fatal 4-Way, so basically we're going to check out the other two. So we'll start with accepting Shawn Michaels' apology. I'll team up with him in a steel cage match against Gregory Helms and Shelton Benjamin. And then for some reason, this, even though this is an important voicemail when you accept HBK's apology, it doesn't have any voiceover, but I figured I still want to include it. Hey Kid Cash, I appreciate you accepting my apology. It means a lot to me, and I'm glad you agreed to team up with me this Sunday at Vengeance against Shelton Benjamin and Gregory Helms. There was a point where I saw a bright future ahead for those two, but as far as I'm concerned, that future is history now. See you this Sunday. Stay healthy. Shawn Michaels. Yeah, I don't know why that's not voiceover, but I wanted to include that. And then here's the voice message from Shelton Benjamin if you go against him.
Alright, you got your steel cage match against me and Gregory Helms tonight. But there's an old saying about being careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. You sure you and Michaels are on the same page? Because I know me and Helms are, and we're gonna close the book on you two tonight.
And then here's the WWE.com article of the teaming up with Shawn Michaels. Kid Cash and HBK ready for Helms and Benjamin. Almost 3 weeks after Shawn Michaels attacked Kid Cash for a crime he did not commit, the two former rivals are teaming up to take on Michaels' former stablemates, Gregory Helms and Shelton Benjamin, for framing Kid Cash and shrieking at HBK and turning against him. Benjamin and Helms wanted to join up with me because they thought I had something to teach them, says Michaels. Well, they're right about that, and they're going to learn a painful lesson right here tonight inside that solid steel cage. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't okay with getting kicked in the face by Shawn, says Kid Cash, but I understand why it happened, and I hold Helms and Benjamin responsible. Besides, after hearing the sweet shit music once, I'd rather be with HBK than against them. Alright, so here's going to be the entrance commentary for teaming up with Shawn Michaels at Vengeance in the cage match.
Here we go, folks. This is Vengeance. And King, is it me, or has Shelton Benjamin and Gregory Helms been absolutely inseparable of late?
Well, JR, if you had a plan to trick Shawn Michaels and it blew up in your face, do you think you'd go anywhere without having someone watch your back? The Heartbreak Kid has been around a long time, and you know he's got some tricks up his sleeve.
I can't argue that, King. Despite the confidence they portray, these two might be sticking together in the name of self-preservation as much as anything else at this point. Shawn Michaels is one of the most legendary and honorable superstars on the entire Raw roster, and he spared no effort to make things right once he realized he had made a mistake.
Yeah, but Michaels is also a hothead, and that's exactly why he made the mistake in the first place. You'd think a superstar with his years of experience would see stuff like that coming by now.
The icon might not have made the wisest decision in the heat of battle, so to speak, but he's more than capable of making up for it here tonight in this steel cage. And if I were Helms and Benjamin, this man has had quite a month here on Raw. From false accusations to surprise attacks. But he's looking to settle the score here tonight at Vengeance in an unforgiving cage of solid steel.
Yeah, and all three men he's in there with have been in some part responsible for his problem. Don't forget, his own partner, Shawn Michaels, hit him with sweet chin music for no reason.
We've been over that, King. HBK had a legitimate reason. It's just that his attack was misguided. He's apologized, and the apology was accepted. As far as I can tell, that's all in the past.
Alright, here's winning the tag team cage match with Shawn Michaels.
And there you have it. Vengeance has been served.
Yeah, Vengeance got served, and Helms and Benjamin really got served. I don't think they'll be coming back for a second, Helmy.
You said it, King. In fact, after that cage match, they may not be eating solid food for weeks.
Shawn Michaels promised that those two would learn a hard lesson here tonight in the cage, and he was right. Maybe they'll think twice next time they decide to pull the wool over someone's eyes.
And here is the magazine article after winning with Shawn Michaels as your teammate at Vengeance. Torn. Severing the ties that bind. When Shawn Michaels agreed to form a new faction with Gregory Helms and Shelton Benjamin, he saw it as a good way to pass along his years of experience in the WWE down to the next generation of superstars and draw strength from their youthful passion. Instead, he found himself deceived into acting against his personal ethic and misplaced show of loyalty, delivering sweet chin music to Kid Cash under the mistaken impression that Kid Cash had attacked Gregory Helms. What Shelton and Gregory did, it was a bit more than just a lie, says Michaels. They tricked me into violating my own moral code, a code that I had every aspect of my life by. I made a mistake, and trying to atone for it was my only priority. Michaels was quickly forgiven by Kid Cash, who went on to team up with him at Vengeance to punish Benjamin and Helms for their actions. But their greatest punishment, according to Michaels, was his decision to dissolve their group. There's no way I was going to work with him after that, says HBK. And that's too bad. They might have thought that having 4 in our group might have interfered with my ability to share with them what I've learned over the years, but let me tell you, whatever lessons the Heartbreak Kid could have taught them would have been a lot less painful than the one they learned at Vengeance. Alright, now here is losing the tag team steel cage match.
Ain't no stopping me, no! I don't believe it! Benjamin and Helms just defeated your Raw Bible superstar. So much for getting revenge here at Vengeance.
I knew Shawn Michaels and his partner weren't rowing in the same direction, but how could they be after everything they went through over the last few weeks?
That might have been the reason, King, but I think it could be the fact they fell victim to that steel cage. Regardless of the superstars or the circumstances surrounding them.
And there you go. Once again, it cuts off. It's such a scam, dude. Torn. Okay, so it's the same, like, headline, but I believe it's slightly different here. Severing the ties that bind. When Shawn Michaels agreed to form a new faction with Gregory Helms and Shelton Benjamin, he saw it as a good way to pass along his years of ring experience in the WWE down to the next generation of superstars and draw strength from their youthful passion. Instead, he found himself deceived into acting against his own personal ethics in a misplaced show of loyalty, delivering sweet shit music to Kid Cash under the mistaken impression that Cash had attacked Helms. When Shelton and Gregory did, it was more than just a lie. What they did was more than just a lie, says Michaels. They tricked me into violating my own moral code, a code that I lived every aspect of my life by, and made a mistake, and trying to atone for it was my only priority. Michaels was quickly forgiven by Kid Cash and went on to team up with him at Vengeance in an attempt to punish Benjamin and Helms for their actions, but even though Kid Cash and HBK did not win the match, Helms and Benjamin suffered a greater punishment according to Michaels. Disbanding of their group, there was no way I was going to work with them after what they, after that, says HBK, and that's too bad. They might have thought that Kid Cash and the group might have interfered with my ability to share with them what I've learned over the years, but let me tell you, whatever lessons I could have taught them would have been lost in them in the long run. I think that's pretty clear now. There you go. It's very similar, just slight differences because you win or you lose, stuff like that. I figured I'd include it, so there you go. Okay, now the other thing to cover in this story is what happens if you choose to not forgive Shawn Michaels and choose to challenge him one-on-one in the cage match at Vengeance. So here we go. Alright, so here's the message you get from Shawn Michaels. Actual voiceover for this one, so that's good.
Alright, fine. Don't accept my apology. The Heartbreak Kid made a mistake, and he admitted it. If you're too pig-headed to let go of the past, then I guess it's time for history to repeat itself.
And this time, when you find yourself looking up at the lights after some sweet chin music, you'll have no one to blame but yourself.
Alright, and then here's the follow-up message you get from Shawn Michaels right before the cage match.
So you're sure you want to do this? You don't want to be a man and admit that you're making a mountain out of a molehill. I told you once, and I'll tell you again. I'm not the guy you should be mad at. But if you're not going to let this go, then I guess the only thing left to do is prove to you that you don't stand a chance against the Heartbreak Kid. See you in the cage.
And then the WWE.com article is slightly different, so I'm going to cover that as well. Kid Cash ready for HBK at Vengeance. Almost 3 weeks after Shawn Michaels attacked Kid Cash for a crime he didn't commit, Kid Cash hopes to earn the measure of revenge against Shawn Michaels in their cage match tonight at Vengeance. Michaels wanted to form a faction because he thought he had some wisdom to hand down to the next generation, says Cash. Well, tonight I'm going to turn the teacher into the student and teach him a painful lesson inside that solid steel cage. I understand why Kid Cash is angry, says Michaels. I'd be angry too, but I'd like to think that if someone made a genuine mistake like I did, I'd accept their apology like a man when it was offered and not continue to pout and hold a grudge like a spoiled kid. A spoiled Kid Cash. Alright, there you go. Alright, here is defeating Shawn Michaels in the cage match at Vengeance.
And there you have it. Vengeance has been served.
Yeah, Vengeance got served, and Shawn Michaels really got served. I don't think he'll be coming back for a second, he'll be.
He promised the Heartbreak Kid would learn a hard lesson tonight in the cage, and that's exactly what we saw happen. I don't know if either superstar will ever be quite the same after this brutal encounter.
Alright, and then magazine. So, same thing. I've read this like, what, 4 times in this segment of the video or whatever. Torn. It's just a slightly different string, but I'll read it here. Severing the ties that bind. When Shawn Michaels agreed to form a faction with Gregory Helms and Shelton Benjamin, he saw it as a good way to pass along his years of experience in the WWE down to the next generation of superstars and draw strength from their youthful passion. Instead, he found himself deceived into acting against his own personal ethics in a misplaced show of loyalty, delivering sweet chin music to Kid Cash under the mistaken impression that Cash had attacked Helms. What Gregory Helms and Shelton Benjamin did, it was more than just a lie, says Michaels. They tricked me into violating my own moral code, a code that I live every aspect of my life by. I made a mistake, and trying to atone for it was my only priority. Michaels apologized to Kid Cash, but Kid Cash refused to accept, instead choosing to meet Michaels in a steel cage match at Vengeance. And I admit, he beat me fair and square, says Michaels, but I still think he went after the wrong guy. We should have had Helms and Benjamin in there. But Helms and Benjamin didn't get away scot-free, according to Michaels. He believes they lost a valuable opportunity when their actions caused them to dissolve their faction. There was no way I was going to work with them after that, says HBK. And that's too bad. They might have thought that having Kid Cash in the group might have interfered with my ability to share with them what I've learned over the years. But let me tell you, whatever lessons I could have taught them would have been a lot less painful than the ones they're going to learn on their own now. Alright, now here's Shawn Michaels winning the cage match at Vengeance.
Superstar like Shawn Michaels with bad intentions alone, you're in for a disappointment.
Boy, if that isn't the truth, King, and that was such a definitive appeal, then I don't see where he goes from here. Shawn Michaels looks like he was the better man tonight across the board. There's nothing left for HBK.
Alright, now here's finally my last time having to read this Torn magazine article. Torn, again. Severing the ties that bind. When Shawn Michaels agreed to form a faction with Gregory Helms and Shelton Benjamin, he saw it as a good way to pass along his years of experience in the WWE down to the next generation of superstars and draw strength from their youthful passion. Instead, he found himself deceived into acting against his own ethics in a misplaced show of loyalty, delivering sweet chin music to Kid Cash under the mistaken impression that Cash had attacked Helms. What Shelton and Gregory did was more than just a lie, says Michaels. They tricked me into violating my own moral code, a code that I live every aspect of my life by. I made a mistake, and trying to atone for it was my only priority. Michaels apologized to Kid Cash, but Kid Cash refused to accept, instead choosing to meet Michaels inside a solid steel cage at Vengeance. And I beat him, but I take no pleasure in that, says Michaels. I still think that he went after the wrong guy. We should have had Benjamin and Helms in there. But Helms Benjamin didn't get away scot-free, according to Michaels. He believes that they lost a valuable opportunity when their actions caused him to dissolve their stable. There was no way I was going to work with them after that, says HBK, and that's too bad. They might have thought that having Kid Cash in the group might have interfered with my ability to share with them what I've learned over the years. But let me tell you, whatever lessons I could have taught them would have been a lot less painful than the ones they're going to have to learn on their own now. So there we go, that was Spring. You can see multiple outcomes here, but in general, the magazine is pretty much the same. Slight string differences depending if you win or lose. Slightly different magazine articles, but figured I'd include all that, so there you go. Alright, next storyline to cover is Uh-Oh, It's Magic. Okay, so for Uh-Oh, It's Magic, there's only really one thing I want to cover here. This is an opportunity to play as Candice Michelle, where she has max stats, you know, like the whole perfect 10 thing, where all of her stats are at 10. I want to say I've done this as a kid before. I can't really recall. Like, we're going to see. By the way, it's on the lowest difficulty. I'm going to see, like, how fast I could beat Kane here. The multiplayer option is actually enabled in this, so it does actually let you play as her. So, let's see if it's actually... Maybe, I don't know. I was kind of debating if I should face someone, like, a really low overall, see how fast I can win, or a high overall. I just picked someone that's kind of, like, a higher overall. We're just going to skip the entrances. We've seen them. But I just kind of went with Kane, I guess. Let's see how fast I can win. And like I said, it's on easy difficulty, so I'm really just going to be trying to win as fast as I can here. And also, I guess this is an opportunity for me to mention, I think, I believe someone mentioned when I played this storyline, like, what happens if you lose at the SummerSlam pay-per-view. It plays the same cutscene with just a different person, so, in case you're wondering. Alright. Okay, so we're going to have weight class cheese, so we got to try to find some decent moves as Candice here.
Bet against it, King. I know what's on the schedule, and let me just say that these fans have hit the jackpot.
Oh no.
I can't believe he countered that one.
I kind of want to find like a move I can spam to see how fast I can, you know, get his body damage to flip if I'm truly like, you know, max stats.
I think that's some good strategy right there.
It certainly is. I'm sure they're well acquainted.
There we go, like a move like this. Let's see.
Is that why you always seem to be in such a hurry, JR?
Okay. It's so, dude, easy is just ridiculous.
I've got to say, JR, I'm really impressed by what we've seen here tonight.
How could you not be?
Yeah. So I always wonder, like, is the game just lying? Did they actually not increase their stats, or did they? I don't know. It seems like I am doing like a pretty good amount of damage. Alright, it's time to end this. I need to get him in the corner, but it needs to be flipped the other way. I guess I could just win the other corner. Oh, whatever. This needs to end. Figure 4 neck lock. It's over. 100 overall Candice. My God. With the replay. I'm playing on a low difficulty, so I can actually drag without him probably reversing it. Cover. The weight class cover. What? He kicked out. Oh my God. I can't recall last time I saw a computer kick out a finisher on easy when they're all red like that. That's crazy. Alright, here we go. I got max submission stat. It's over. Actually, it's probably a good way to test because depending on how high your submission stat is determines how long you can hold on to it. It's over. Well, maybe I should have waited, but there you go. That was 100 overall Candice. You're really, without hacking, that's your only opportunity to do something like that. But obviously, if you know what you're doing with hacking wise, it's pretty easy to do that.
You know, I thought she looked a little better than usual out there.
A little? King, she was wrestling better than most WWE champions.
And looking a lot better, too.
As you can see, I believe that's the same commentary because they don't acknowledge who wins the match. It's just, it's playing a win animation for Candice instead of essentially one here, but there you go. Alright, next storyline to cover is with friends like these. Alright, so here's what happens if you actually choose to stick with Masters, but you end up losing the #1 contender match. Just some different commentary here, and then the story just ends. So here you go.
Well, it looks as if Kane and Snitsky won't be putting their titles on the line this Sunday after all.
The Masterpiece did his best, but even he wasn't good enough to overcome a lousy partner.
You can't tell me that Masters bears no responsibility for this loss, Keith. Tag teams win or lose as a team. And maybe if Masters had a better sense of teamwork, we would have seen a different outcome here tonight.
Alright, and here's what happens if you make it to the pay-per-view, but you still lose the tag team title match after teaming up with Masters.
Kane and Snitsky have retained the tag team title. I can't say I'm surprised. I can't think of too many teams who would stand up against those two monsters.
The Masterpiece did his best, but even he wasn't good enough to overcome Kane and Snitsky and a lousy partner. That's just not fair.
Oh, enough about the Masterpiece already. Tag teams win or lose as a team. And maybe if Masters had a better sense of teamwork, he would have had a different outcome here tonight at Unforgiven.
Alright, here's the magazine after you lose the tag team title match. Solid gold. Wait, why does Kane have the Cruiserweight title? I don't remember this at all. Alright, well, solid gold. How did they not catch that? Vito cost Chris Masters tag team glory. Few superstars could single-handedly dominate Raw's tag team division the way the Masterpiece Chris Masters has over the past few weeks. But even a superstar the caliber of the Masterpiece couldn't overcome a lackluster tag team partner Unforgiven when Kane and Snitsky defeated Vito to retain their tag team titles. Look, I understand that Vito wanted to hook up with me to get some gold around his waist, but he had to meet me halfway, says Masters. Hell, even a quarter of the way would have been something I could have worked with. But against a pair of monsters like Kane and Snitsky, even I can't do all the lifting in a situation like that. Raw magazine was unable to reach Vito for comment for this article, but sources close to him say that they resented the attention Masters got during their tag team and has no intention of continuing their partnership with the Masterpiece. See, that's just a sore loser, says Chris Masters. After everything I did for him, he takes his ball and he goes, well, screw him. The Masterpiece doesn't need him or anyone else. Did Chris Masters write this article or what? Oh my god. Well, there you go. Alright, so the other thing to cover in this storyline is what happens if you choose to abandon Chris Masters and not have the tag team title match. So, forget this. No title's worth having to deal with Masters' ego. He can go out there all alone tonight, and to hell with our tag team title match at Unforgiven.
Where the heck is Chris Masters' partner?
I think he left the Masterpiece high and dry. What a coward!
Masters wants no part of this. He's running like his life depends on it, and it probably does.
Oh no, they've got him cornered. I can't watch.
Did you see that? I think Kane and Snitsky inadvertently knocked each other out. Look at this. Masters could get the count out here.
He did it! He did it, JR! The Masterpiece just beat the tag team champions by himself!
I don't believe it. Chris Masters may be the luckiest son of a gun I've ever seen.
I told you he didn't need his partner, JR, and there's the proof.
Alright, here's the voicemail you get for Tori Wilson after you choose to abandon Chris Masters.
Hey, this is Tori. And I don't know what you tried to pull out there, but all you proved is that Chris Masters is 10 times the man you'll ever be. I can see why you'd be jealous of him, but the least you could do is be professional about it. And since you're so good at not showing up, you'd better not even bother showing up to Unforgiven, because I know Chris will be there. And if he just took out the tag team champions single-handed, what do you think he's gonna do to a loser like you? Ugh!
Alright, now we'll check out the WWE.com article for when you choose to betray Masters. Masters, Bobby Lashley, an Unforgiven grudge match. Last Monday night on Raw, Bobby Lashley did the unthinkable. He abandoned his tag team partner, Chris Masters, and left him at the mercy of the tag team champions, Kane and Snitsky. Masters managed to turn the tables on the champs, but his former partner isn't impressed. And he's not sorry either. I don't know what the big deal is, says Lashley. For the last month, Masters has been telling everyone that he's been doing all the work, and I've just been along for the ride. I just wanted to give him a chance to prove he's everything he says he is, but the only thing he proves is that his luck is as dumb as the rest of them. Not surprisingly, the Masterpiece sees it differently. Last week on Raw, I proved that I was everything I said I was. I beat the Tag Team Champion single-handedly by all rights. I should be the Tag Team Champion right now, all by myself. And just in case there's the slightest doubt left in anyone's mind, I'm calling out Bobby Lashley for a one-on-one no DQ match at Unforgiven. If he even has the guts to show up, I'll prove that he's nothing but a bitter, jealous wannabe. And he's gonna find out the same thing every wannabe before him has found out. There's no escape from the Master Lock. Wow, there's a typo in here. Look at where it says there. It's an asterisk instead of a apostrophe. What? That's so weird. Okay, well, there we go. All right, as you can see, this alternate path leads down to a one-on-one match with Chris Masters. So I'll go ahead and show you the entrance commentary for that.
Chris Masters comes in here tonight holding a grudge against his former partner. And I never thought I'd say it, but for once, I can't blame him, King. This one's gonna be bowling shoe ugly.
I sure as heck wouldn't want the Masterpiece mad at me. You saw what he did to Kane and Snitsky last week.
Yeah, he picked up the luckiest win in the world by falling to his knees and blubbering like a baby with a dirty diaper. And I don't think that's a strategy that's gonna work here tonight. Say that I approve of the way he abandoned his partner on Raw, but I certainly understand his ongoing frustrations with Chris Masters.
Of course you do. You're both jealous of the Masterpiece, and I don't blame you. Neither one of you will ever be half of what Chris Masters is.
Well, if that means I'll never be half as pompous as Chris Masters is, I suppose I should count myself lucky.
Alright, so here's what happens if you beat Chris Masters in the one-on-one match.
Some measure of vindication, because I'd hate to see them go through something like that again.
It's a terrible thing when jealousy gets out of control like that. How could he destroy a piece of art like the Masterpiece the way he did?
Well, I'll tell you what, King. If the Mona Lisa was half as obnoxious as this Masterpiece, they'd have torched her years ago.
Alright, and here's the magazine article when you beat Chris Masters at Unforgiven one-on-one. Disasterpiece. Look at him, dude. Masterpiece revealed to be counterfeit. Millions of Raw fans around the world were shocked at Unforgiven when Chris Masters' former tag team partner Bobby Lashley defeated the Masterpiece in a no disqualification match in front of the entire world live on pay-per-view. Masters has been hailed as the uncrowned king of the tag team division, but after his crushing defeat at the hands of Bobby Lashley, it is now becoming clear that the partnership was not as one-sided as it might have seemed. I've been trying to tell WWE.com and Raw Magazine and the fans for weeks that Chris Masters was full of it, says Lashley, and I'm glad you people have finally come around. You have no idea how frustrating it was week after week to see him taking credit for my work. And nothing felt better than laying him out for everyone to see and proving that he was just a muscle-bound fraud. Damn. And while Masters might have been defeated in his match against Bobby Lashley, he lost none of his trademark arrogance. Bobby Lashley can say whatever he wants, but I'm still the guy who took out Kane and Snitsky at once, single-handed. Unforgiven was just one match. If Bobby Lashley and I meet again, it would be a different story. When asked when that theoretical rematch might happen, Masters hastily added, whoa, 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 back up there, pal. This is old news, and the Masterpiece has got a lot of new challenges on the horizon, and Bobby Lashley's just gonna have to get in line. Okay, and here's what happens if Chris Masters actually ends up winning the one-on-one match at Unforgiven.
Well, despite his arrogant behavior of late, you've got to give it to Masters. He came out here and did exactly what he said he was going to do.
Yeah, he beat another jealous wannabe. And at the same time, he taught his ungrateful former partner a lesson that he'll never forget.
Let's hope so, King. There are some lessons you don't want to have to learn twice, and this would certainly seem to be one.
Okay, and here's the magazine article if you actually lose to Chris Masters at Unforgiven. Masterful. Masterpiece to be jealous ex-partner. Chris Masters proved he was everything he said he was at Unforgiven when he defeated his former tag team partner Bobby Lashley in a no disqualification match in front of millions of fans live on pay-per-view. Masters had been hailed as the uncrowned king of the tag team division, much to the chagrin of the envious Bobby Lashley, who abandoned the Masterpiece in a non-title match against Kane and Snitsky, the tag team champions. After defeating both monsters single-handedly, Masters set his sights on Bobby Lashley, obliterating him and proving that he could walk the walk as well as talk the talk. Bobby Lashley can say whatever he wants. I'm the guy who took out Kane and Snitsky at once, single-handed. Once Bobby Lashley does that, then maybe he can pretend he's on my level. But if he's looking for me to give him some sort of rematch, he can forget about it. The Masterpiece is looking forward, not back. Okay, next storyline to cover is a new leaf. Alright, so here's what happens if you lose to JBL in the first month of this story. And now this will actually completely end the story. So, yeah.
Well, I have to give the man credit. JBL is our new champion, and he won the title here at No Mercy fair and square. I never thought I'd see the day.
That's what I've been telling you all along, Cole. This is not the old JBL you used to deal with.
You know, I think I have to agree with you, Taz, and not for nothing. I think that JBL's next title reign might be very different from his first one.
Okay, so the next thing to cover here is choosing not to give JBL the rematch. So when I originally played this, I gave JBL the rematch. So basically, Teddy Long asked, do you want a new challenger, or do you think JBL has earned another shot? So this time, I'm going to say new challenger. And you'll see the differences here with this. Alright, so first thing to cover is going to be the voicemail JBL sends you.
Hey, pal. I talked to Teddy Long, and I just want to let you know that I completely understand why you couldn't give me the rematch. There are a lot of contenders out there, and I'd hate to be accused of getting another title opportunity just because we're friends. But listen, whoever you're facing at Survivor Series, I want you to be 100% when you do it, so I'm going to manage you against Boogeyman tonight. That lunatic is a few bricks short of a load, and I don't want him pulling anything on you. I'll see you out there.
Okay, so if you choose not to get JBL the rematch, you actually get one additional cutscene and an additional match. So I'll go ahead and show that real quick.
I never thought Champ would fall for my Mr. Nice Guy routine that long. Well, apparently, his malignant case of wall-to-wall dumbass is as bad as all of you idiots in the cheap seats. Every time an arena full of you morons would cheer for the new JBL, it was just pathetic. You know, I'm not surprised that the champion didn't give me my rematch, because he knows I'd take that title from him like candy from a baby.
Hey, JBL, guess what, boss? Be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it.
Baby? You're the one crying and whining like a little baby that crapped his diaper. JBL, there's an old saying that comes to mind. Be careful what you wish for, because you just might get your ass handed to you in your own ridiculous 10-gallon hat. I changed my mind. This Sunday at Survivor Series, it's you and me for the World Heavyweight title. In a last man standing match. And tonight, I want you in a cage match.
You think you know it.
Alright, as you can see, you end up in a steel cage match against JBL, a little bit of a bonus match you get for taking this path. And by the way, the reason why it was Edge in that last cutscene, not Eddie, is because I wanted somebody with actual voiceover. So now I'll show you the entrance commentary, and then I'll show you the post-match commentary. Now, regardless of who wins or loses, it does the same post-match commentary, so just keep that in mind.
Gotta tell you, Taz, I feel betrayed by JBL. I honestly thought he had reformed himself.
I've always told you you're kind of naive, Cole. Besides, imagine how the champ must feel. JBL sucking him just as bad as the rest of us. And now, JBL's gunning for the World Heavyweight title.
This might be a non-title match, Taz, but you can bet it doesn't change the fact that there are some strong emotions between these two competitors, given the betrayal of John Bradshaw Layfield.
You're absolutely right, Cole. Some of the most brutal matches in the history of the business haven't had a title on the line. And I get the feeling that's what we're in for here tonight.
What a brutal match. Could this be a preview of things to come in Survivor Series?
I can't believe either of these guys are going to be able to go again this summer. But with the World Heavyweight title on the line, I'm sure they're going to find a way.
Okay, here's what happens if JBL wins the one-on-one match at Survivor Series.
Oh, I don't believe it. After all, the sheet don't tell me that JBL just won the World Heavyweight title here at Survivor Series.
All right, I will. But that don't mean it's not true. Face it, Cole. JBL's scheming and mind games paid off.
Alright, here is the magazine if you lose to JBL at Survivor Series. Betrayal. JBL crowned new champ at Survivor Series. Like most things that seemed too good to be true, it turned out that it was. John Bradshaw Layfield, infamous for the longest and most brutal world title reign of the last decade, appeared to have turned over a new leaf, embracing World Heavyweight Champion Eddie Guerrero as a brother and appearing to usher in a new era of sportsmanlike conduct in the SmackDown title picture. Even after an unsuccessful title challenge at No Mercy, JBL played it cool and kept his cards close to the vest. Those who were suspicious of his new attitude found themselves unable to doubt him after seeing how gracious he was in defeat. But all the while, JBL was just biding his time and waiting for his moment to strike. That moment came just before his World Heavyweight title match at Survivor Series, where his true colors were revealed with a single clothesline from hell. As it turned out, JBL's plan worked perfectly. Stunned by the betrayal and still feeling like the lingering effects of JBL's sneak attack, Eddie Guerrero was unable to go the distance, and JBL left Survivor Series with the World Heavyweight title around his waist. There are those who will question the methods I used to win this title, says JBL. As far as I'm concerned, that's just sour grapes from the so-called superstars who couldn't hold a candle to me. I am the World Heavyweight Champion. I am a wrestling god, and I defy anyone in the SmackDown locker room to prove otherwise. Okay, next story to cover is it's not the size, it's how you use it. Alright, first thing to cover in this storyline is the first choice you get is who you want to defend the title against Armageddon. When I originally played, I chose The Undertaker. This time we're going to show you Benoit instead.
It's Theater Alone buzzing you, just like I said. You had some ring time against Benoit and The Undertaker tonight. And as far as I'm concerned, it's a money match no matter which one you face at Armageddon. So I'm leaving it up to you, dog. Who do you want to put the World Heavyweight title on the line against? Let me know. Holla at me.
We're going to choose Chris Benoit this time. And then when you choose Benoit, you get a slightly different WWE.com article, so let's check that out. Undertaker to face Bret Hart tonight. Following his tag team match against Undertaker and Chris Benoit last week on SmackDown, it was announced that World Heavyweight Champion Bret Hart will be defending the title at Armageddon against Chris Benoit, a decision that has raised the ire of the Phenom, The Undertaker. No mortal man can blame Bret Hart for not wanting to face the Deadman Armageddon, says Taker. And I'll prove that, cowardly as it was, his decision was the correct one. When he steps in the ring with me, I will send him straight to hell. Jesus. SmackDown GM Teddy Long confirmed that Bret Hart and The Undertaker are scheduled for a non-title match in the main event this evening. Long also said that The Undertaker remains solidly entrenched in the World Heavyweight title picture, despite the fact Bret Hart's next title defense will not be against him. Alright, and then I'll show you there is an alternate cutscene now with Rey Mysterio attacking The Undertaker this time. So we'll check that out.
Hey, you know what, Cole? Be my guest. I'm not getting in between them.
That's Rey Mysterio. What's he doing here?
Whoa, check it out. A huge missile dropkick on The Undertaker.
I don't think the champ appreciated Mysterio's assistance. How is this going to play out next week on SmackDown?
Alright, now here's the voicemail Rey Mysterio sends to you after he attacks The Undertaker.
Hey, dog, it's Ray. I'm really sorry if I misread the situation last week. I just want to make sure that you made it to Armageddon in one piece, and that The Undertaker looked like he was ready to explode. Yo, I hope everything's cool with us. Anyway, I'm looking forward to our 4-man battle royal tonight against Benoit and Undertaker. 2 main event matches in a month. That's gotta look pretty good for my World Heavyweight title chances, right? Adios, amigo. Later, dog.
Alright, so here's the alternate path of choosing to face Benoit at Armageddon instead of Undertaker. Alright, so here's what happens when you beat Chris Benoit at the pay-per-view, the first pay-per-view.
He did it. He defended his title against Chris Benoit. He's going to leave Armageddon as the World Heavyweight Champion.
That was a great match. But I'll tell you, he may be going from the frying pan into the fire. He survived Benoit here. But let me remind you that The Undertaker still had some unfinished business with the champion.
That's the short tabs. You have to wonder how Rey Mysterio fits into all this. But regardless, what a great victory for the champion this has been.
Okay, now here's Chris Benoit winning the match at Armageddon, which will end your story, by the way.
Chris Benoit's done it. He's reclaimed the World Heavyweight Championship here tonight at Armageddon. It's been a long time coming for him, and there's plenty of reason for him and his fans to celebrate this victory.
This was an awesome win for him. As great as Benoit is, he had given it everything he had to beat the champ here tonight. And I think Benoit was the champ's hand-picked opponent.
Very true, Taz. I think that if they fought 100 times, they might each win 50. Chris Benoit was the better man tonight.
Alright, here's what happens if The Undertaker wins the world title at Armageddon.
The Undertaker has done it. He's won the World Heavyweight Championship here tonight at Armageddon. It's been a long time coming for him, and there is plenty of reason for him and his fans to celebrate this victory.
This was an awesome win for him, Cole. As awesome as Taker is, he had to give it everything he had to beat the champion tonight. And to think that Deadman was the champ's hand-picked opponent.
Very true, Taz. I think that if they fought 100 times, they might each win 50. But The Undertaker was the better man tonight.
Okay, and here's winning the Fatal 4-Way title match at the Royal Rumble. In my original playthrough, I actually lost this because of some cheese, but here you go. This is what happens if you actually win the match.
And there you have it. The World Heavyweight Champion has successfully defended his title once again. Only this time, he had to go through 3 top challengers on SmackDown to do it.
That was a hell of a match. Whenever you can beat the likes of Mysterio, Benoit, and Taker in the very same match, you know, you've done something impressive.
And one other thing to note, should a SmackDown superstar win the Royal Rumble tonight, he's got his work cut out for him at Wrestlemania, going up against the champion like we've seen here tonight.
Alright, so here's the WWE.com article if you win the Fatal 4-Way. Mysterio's World Heavyweight title ambitions fall short. So 2 months leading up to the Royal Rumble, Rey Mysterio did everything in his power to prove that he was a worthy contender for the World Heavyweight title. After taking out contenders Chris Benoit and The Undertaker, as well as the champion himself, Mysterio was added to the Royal Rumble title match, but it was Bret Hart who won the Fatal 4-Way to retain the title. It was a heck of a match, says Mysterio. I'm not ashamed of anything I did in the match or the weeks leading up to it. As far as I'm concerned, I had to overcome prejudice in the title system, and sometimes you can't do that by sitting back and acting polite. Bret Hart has a different take on the situation. For weeks, Mysterio was nagging me and Teddy Long to include him in the title picture. Neither of us had the heart to tell him that he just wasn't a contender. Believe me, he's an impressive superstar. He's gonna go down as one of the all-time greats. When it comes right down to it, he just got outclassed. Alright, next storyline is the road to WrestleMania. Alright, here's what happens if you actually lose to Batista at No Way Out. This is just after you get attacked backstage. And by the way, the story just ends if you lose.
New champion. Batista has won the World Heavyweight Championship here at No Way Out. You gotta give Batista all the credit in the world. But let's face it, that backstage assault before the match obviously took the fight right out of the gym.
It sure did, Taz. Batista's the kind of guy you want to face when you're down at 100%. Under the circumstances, the champ shouldn't feel any shame at all at losing this match here tonight.
Easy for you to say. He might be hurt physically, but that's nothing compared to the pain of losing championship and a chance to defend it at WrestleMania.
Alright, so the next thing to cover in the storyline is the alternate choice of blaming Batista for the one that attacked you. So if you saw my original video on this storyline, I chose Orton, but this time if you choose Batista, you actually get some pretty major differences, so we'll check them out right here. Alright, so the first thing to check out is Batista's voicemail he sends you after he figures out that you're blaming him.
Hey, what the hell have you been saying to Teddy Long and Stephanie McMahon? They're all over me with questions about where I was before the match at No Way Out. Do you seriously think I'd try to pull something like that? And how the hell could you suspect me over Orton, the guy who's been trying to take you out for the last month? I'll tell you what, tonight I'm gonna prove that I don't need to hit you from behind with a weapon to take you out. I'm gonna do it with my bare hands in our match. See you out there, champ.
Alright, and then the next week you get another voicemail from Batista.
What the hell is your problem, man? It's bad enough that you accused me of attacking you at No Way Out with no proof whatsoever. But now Stephanie McMahon tells me I'm not going to get a rematch for the World Heavyweight title. You cost me my WrestleMania main event, you son of a bitch. And I'm going to make you pay for that in the ring tonight.
As we understand it, Taz, Batista has just been stripped of his World Heavyweight title rematch at WrestleMania. Apparently, Stephanie McMahon based his decision on the ongoing investigation into who attacked the champion at No Way Out. It seems that Batista is the prime suspect.
Whatever happened to innocent until proven guilty? In any case, I'd hate to be on the other side of the ring for Batista right now. Batista's a scary dude.
Nonetheless, it's going to be the champion here with his bodyguard at ringside to face the enraged animal Batista.
Okay, and then the next week after you face Batista, here's a follow-up voicemail from Stephanie.
Hey champ, Stephanie McMahon here. I just wanted to tell you that yes, you can have Lashley accompany you to the ring tonight. We have no idea what Batista might try, or Orton for that matter, and you need to stay healthy for WrestleMania. But when WrestleMania comes around, I have to insist that you face Orton one-on-one without anyone in your corner. Good luck tonight.
Alright, and then there's a WWE.com article you can check out now in this path. Orton named #1 contender at WrestleMania. SmackDown GM Theodore Long announced that Randy Orton has been named the #1 contender for Shane McMahon's World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania. The official contract signing will take place next week on SmackDown. One superstar who's not happy with that decision is Batista, who was originally scheduled to have a rematch with Shane McMahon after losing to him at No Way Out. This is a load of crap, says Batista. I got my rematch stripped from me because I was accused without evidence of something I didn't do. I should be going to the main event of WrestleMania, not that punk Orton. Orton responded to Batista's statement with his characteristic cockiness. Batista's got to learn to quit whining if he wants to get back in the World Heavyweight title picture. Besides, there's always next year, but this is the year of the Legend Killer. Shane McMahon and Orton will face off in a non-title preview match tonight in the main event of SmackDown.
As was announced earlier this afternoon, Randy Orton has been named the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania. And we're going to get a preview of that matchup right here tonight.
And this is going to be a great match, I'm telling you. But I am wondering if Batista is going to make his presence felt here tonight. He ain't exactly thrilled to be left at the main event of WrestleMania.
Alright, then after you face Randy Orton on SmackDown, there's a new WWE.com article. This is right before the contract signing. WrestleMania contract signing tonight. As announced by General Manager Theodore Long, Shane McMahon and Randy Orton will meet in the ring tonight on SmackDown to officially sign the contracts for their World Heavyweight title match. Once contracts are signed, the fates of those two superstars will forever be linked to their performance this Sunday at the Showcase of the Immortals, WrestleMania. And then I'll go ahead and play that cutscene because this cutscene is actually different in this path, so check that out.
You know, champ, now that the contract is signed, the ink is dry, and there's no backing out, I've just got one thing to say to you. I was the one who took you out at No Way Out, not Batista.
I knew it! Oh man, here comes Batista, and he does not look happy with Orton.
Can you blame him? He lost his WrestleMania title match to the man who was guilty of the very act he was accused of. What? Oh my God! Batista just destroyed Lashley!
I don't think he's done yet, Cole, and I got a funny feeling that Batista and Orton are in this together. And I do think they want a piece of the champ right here and right now.
Alright, as you can see, that also leads into a handicap match against Batista and Orton. Alright, then after that handicap match, nothing happens. There's no entrances, no post-match animation, but you get a new voicemail here.
Okay, I think you've officially lost your mind. I can't believe you're letting Batista manage Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Look, I've done my best to try and protect you, but if you're gonna pull stuff like this, there is no point. I've done what I can to get you to WrestleMania in one piece. The rest is up to you.
Alright, and there's a new WWE.com article. Batista turns on Shane McMahon, supports Orton at WrestleMania. Batista shocked the world tonight when he turned on Shane McMahon and joined Randy Orton in a 2-on-1 assault on the World Heavyweight Champion. In an exclusive interview after the match, Batista explained his motivations. Very simple, he says, Shane McMahon ran his mouth about me and I tried to take him out at No Way Out without having any evidence to back it up. That led to Stephanie McMahon taking away my title rematch at WrestleMania, something that was going to be one of the most important matches of my career. And look, I'm not Randy Orton's biggest fan, but the fact of the matter is he was willing to give me the first shot at his title in exchange for helping him out. And considering Shane McMahon has taken a title opportunity away from me, it wasn't exactly a hard choice to make. Shane McMahon responded to Batista's comments from the Arena Medical Facility, where he was being treated for minor injuries following Batista and Randy Orton's assault earlier tonight. Batista made a big mistake tonight by joining up with Orton. If I knew that all he wanted to be in the main event of WrestleMania, we might have been able to work that out. And as a matter of fact, now I'm listening on it, I want Batista and Orton's corner at WrestleMania. So when I beat him and retain the World Heavyweight title, neither one of them can say I didn't give them every possible advantage. By the way, I kind of don't like that cutscene of when Batista attacks Lashley, your bodyguard. Because, like, your season character is... What happened to my textures? What is going on? Your season character is just standing there. And, like, it looks so weird, dude. I don't know. And then it leads in the handicap match. It kind of makes sense, I guess, but... Yeah. Alright, you can see, just like with the other path, you do end up facing Orton the same way. I mean, obviously just the minor differences with Batista here, but either way, you still face Orton. So all I have to show now is what happens if Randy Orton wins the title. So we'll show that real quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the pinnacle of sports entertainment, the main event at WrestleMania. And here we go, Taz, as Randy Orton makes his way to the ring to compete for the most prestigious prize in our industry, SmackDown's World Heavyweight title.
It just doesn't get any bigger than this, I'm telling you. And speaking of big, just get a load of Batista. You gotta like Randy Orton's chance of leaving with the title tonight when he's got a guy named the Animal in his corner.
He's a huge superstar for sure, partner, and I'm sure he's going to have a huge impact in this title match. But remember, it was the ever-opportunistic Randy Orton who did everything he could to set himself up for this moment over the last couple of months. And you
can bet he's not going to stop now. No one can say that the World Heavyweight Champion hasn't given Randy Orton every possible advantage. He's even letting Orton bring Batista to the ring as his manager.
The champ knows that if he's going to beat Orton, he's got to beat him decisively, Cole. I'm telling you that right now. If he wins here tonight, there is no way Orton or anyone else can say he's not the real deal.
And winning is on his mind to be sure, but win, lose, or draw, what an unbelievable honor and opportunity it is for this man to defend SmackDown's World Heavyweight title right here at WrestleMania.
Okay, so this is what happens if Orton wins the title at WrestleMania.
He pulled every dirty trick in the book, and now he's been rewarded with a World Heavyweight title victory at WrestleMania. How is that fair? How is that right?
I know you're not happy about it, Cole, but give Orton credit. Lots of guys have, you know, game plans for success. But not only did his work, his took him all the way to the biggest prize in the business on the biggest show in the year.
I just think it's a damn shame that Orton represents SmackDown now, Taz. He's exactly the opposite of everything that SmackDown stands for. I'm looking forward to the day where Orton's crooked ways catch up with him, champion or not.
And then here's the magazine article if Orton's the one to win the title at WrestleMania. Orton triumphant. Orton victorious at WrestleMania. And what will no doubt be remembered as one of the most controversial matches in WrestleMania history, Randy Orton won the World Heavyweight title in a grueling contest against Shane McMahon with the assistance of Batista. In the months leading up to WrestleMania, Shane McMahon endured repeated assaults by Orton, including a sneak attack just prior to his title defense against Batista at No Way Out, and an in-ring ambush by Batista that sent Shane McMahon's former bodyguard, Bobby Lashley, to the hospital. Orton is completely unapologetic for his actions. "Look, this is a rough business," he says. "I learned a long time ago that opportunities aren't just handed out, they're taken. Shane McMahon handed me the opportunity to take him out for the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania, and I took it. He handed me the opportunity to have Batista in my corner, and I took it. If Shane McMahon wants to blame anyone for losing the title, he should start with himself. There's a new World Heavyweight Champion in town, and his name is Randy Orton." Alright, next storyline to cover is I've Got Your Back. Alright, so what to cover in this storyline is what happens if you lose to Chris Benoit at Survivor Series. That's really about it, so. There's another Ultimate Submission match. Another Ultimate Submission match, so I had to stay here for 20 minutes to get this footage, so here you go. This is what happens if Chris Benoit wins at Survivor Series.
Well, despite the best laid plans of Johnny Nitro and the #1 contender, Chris Benoit has won this match and retained the World Heavyweight Championship in Survivor Series, and I have to admit, I'm not entirely surprised.
For once, I agree with you. Benoit's a great champion, no doubt. But I wonder if maybe all of Nitro's image concerns maybe threw the challenger off his game.
I don't know if I have an answer for that, Taz, but I do know that SmackDown has seen a great match here tonight, and that we certainly haven't seen the last of the man who ended up on the short end of the stick. He'll be back, but
Alright, and then here's the magazine if Chris Benoit retains the world title at Survivor Series. Survivor. What is that picture? Benoit survives Hardcore Holly at Survivor Series. The Rabid Wolverine Chris Benoit has survived many challenges over his long and illustrious career, but perhaps his greatest one was his successful World Heavyweight title defense against Hardcore Holly at the Survivor Series. Benoit came in focused on destroying the competition, and his attention never wavered from that goal. In contrast, Hardcore Holly wasn't so lucky, forced to endure the help offered by Johnny Nitro during the weeks leading up to Survivor Series. No matter what I tried to do, I couldn't get rid of the guy says Hardcore Holly. Every time I turned around, he was trying to set me up with a photo shoot or an interview with some magazine. And then of course there were the times he distracted me and got me locked in Chris Benoit's crippler crossface. Johnny Nitro cost me the world title, and that's not something I'm going to forget anytime soon. Nitro not only denies that he had a detrimental effect on Hardcore Holly's title dreams, he accuses Holly of using him as a scapegoat for his own failure to capture the world title at Survivor Series. Of course, Hardcore Holly's gonna say that it was all my fault. You didn't expect him to admit that he was totally clueless, did you? The guy barely knows which side of the camera to stand on, and with his looks, that's not exactly a bad thing for the rest of us. I can turn any chump into a champ, but they've got to work with me, not against me. Alright, next story to cover is Bride of Kane. Okay, so first thing to cover here is if you actually end up losing the parking lot brawl against Kane, you get a special cutscene. Now, I talked about this in my playthrough, but we never saw it because I ended up winning. I played the storyline twice, and I beat Kane twice. So here we go. Here's the cutscene if you lose to Kane in the parking lot.
What's she doing with Kane?
I don't know, Taz. Melina looks like she's been brainwashed or something. Could this be the power of the Deadman at work?
Man, things ain't looking too good for the challenger, Cole. Taker and Kane have been one step ahead of him the whole time.
Okay, so the next thing to cover is if you end up facing Undertaker one-on-one instead of the triple threat with Kane. So there's slightly different announcer entrance commentary, so we're gonna check that out.
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the SmackDown main event at WrestleMania. And here he comes, the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight title. I can't remember the last time a superstar had to fight so hard to make it to WrestleMania.
No doubt about it, Cole. No one challenges the Deadman and escapes untouched, and he's living proof. He's made it here tonight, and he's ready to go.
The last few weeks have been classic Undertaker. The mind games, the manipulation, the win-at-all-cost mentality, and it's all led up to this moment.
The Deadman is the master of having his fights half won by the time he steps into that ring, but you gotta give his opponent credit. Some of the other guys, nothing. They would have folded like a cheap accordion weeks ago. Hey, you ever a cheap accordion?
Okay, and here's what happens if The Undertaker wins at WrestleMania.
This is a mistake, JR. Everyone knows that
He gave it all he had, but it just wasn't good enough.
It's like I said, Cole, The Undertaker did a number on him before he even got here tonight. And he couldn't get past it.
It's a disappointing end to WrestleMania for him, but it's only a matter of time before a superstar of his caliber rises to the top again.
Alright, now we'll check out the magazine after The Undertaker wins, and you can kind of tell in that Undertaker win scenario, the commentary was just generic, like, oh, your superstar didn't win because Kane could also be in that match and win that match, but here is the magazine if The Undertaker wins. The Brothers Grimm. Undertaker's WrestleMania streak alive or undead? Preserving his perfect WrestleMania record, the World Heavyweight Champion Undertaker retained his title in a bone-crushing clash of irresistible forces and immovable objects, making for one of the most memorable WrestleMania moments in history. There were many moments leading up to WrestleMania when it appeared as if Johnny Nitro would not even make it to the ill-fated title match, thanks in part to the actions of The Undertaker's brother, Kane. The sinister siblings played a series of mind games on Nitro that began with the kidnapping of Melina and did not end until WrestleMania was over. Johnny Nitro was completely unprepared for the darkness I unleashed at WrestleMania, says the Deadman. He expected to face a mortal foe, one of flesh and blood who could be defeated with physical blows, but before the match even started, I had defeated him in his mind and in his heart. All that remained was to put his body out of its misery and let it rest in peace. Alright, so I also want to include the magazine if Kane is in the WrestleMania main event and he ends up winning. So again, it can be either you versus Taker or you versus Taker and Kane, and what determines that is whether or not you save Melina, basically in the parking lot. So that's where that branch comes from. So here we go, the Brothers Grimm. Kane defeats Undertaker, Johnny Nitro at WrestleMania. In his first ever WrestleMania loss, the World Heavyweight Champion Undertaker was defeated by his brother Kane in a bone-crushing clash of irresistible forces and immovable objects. making for one of the most memorable WrestleMania moments in history. Even the impassioned efforts of Johnny Nitro could not quench the fire that raged the breast of the Big Red Machine? What? Kane assisted The Undertaker in kidnapping Melina in an effort to get under the skin of Taker's original WrestleMania opponent, Johnny Nitro. But after Johnny Nitro rescued Melina from Kane's clutches, an enraged Kane accused his brother of failing to help him. That rage led to Kane being inserted into the WrestleMania match and claiming the World Heavyweight Championship from The Undertaker. My brother tried to play me for a fool, said Kane in an exclusive interview moments after his victory. But who's the fool now? I told The Undertaker that because he allowed something precious to be taken from me, I would take something precious from him, and he should know better than anyone that I never make an idle threat. Alright, next storyline to cover is United We Stand. Alright, so the biggest thing to cover in this storyline is the alternate path if you choose not to help Batista. So, you get the choice after this voicemail from Edge.
Hey there, sport. I just wanted to let you know that this thing between us Raw and SmackDown guys, yeah, it's not over. Just watch what happens to Batista tonight. Only it's not going to happen in the ring. And hey, think about it. If you're smart, you'll stay the hell out of it. I mean, why would you want to help Batista anyway? Newsflash, Batista's got something you want. It's called the World Heavyweight Championship. If you stay out of our way, maybe it'll make it that much easier to take it from him at WrestleMania. Toodles.
Alright, then from this message you get two choices. You can either help Batista, which is what I did when I originally played the storyline, or you can not help him. So, I'm going to pretend I never got this message. After all, it's not like anyone's going to know I knew about the attack, and it's only going to make it easier for me at WrestleMania. They make that choice, and then now I'm going to get an alternate cutscene of Batista getting attacked, and then the story slightly changes with commentary and stuff, so I'll cover that. So here we go.
Oh my God! Edge and the Masterpiece just came out of nowhere, and they're beating the hell out of the World Heavyweight Champion.
It's 2-on-1, and Batista got caught flat-footed.
Is there nobody here to come to the aid of Batista? Edge and Masters have picked their spot too well. Damn it!
Tell you what, we didn't see this coming from Edge and Masters.
Alright, and then you'll see after that cutscene you get a different voicemail, and there's actually a different WWE.com article, so let's check that out.
Hey, it's a Champ. After what happened in the parking lot last week, I'm looking forward to us finishing off Edge and Masters once and for all tonight. In case you haven't heard, Edge had a lot to say about it, and I'm hoping that he's just running his mouth. See, he says that you knew he and Masters were gonna jump me. You've already got your hands full in our title match at WrestleMania this Sunday. But if I found out that Edge was actually telling the truth for once, well, let's just say I'd find a way to put a little extra on it. Later.
Alright, and then what Batista's referring to is Edge's comments, which he made to WWE.com, which we can view here, so maybe I should have read this first, but oh well. Edge, Randy Orton knew we were coming for Batista. Edge and Chris Masters shocked the sports entertainment world last week when they ambushed the World Heavyweight Champion Batista in the parking lot after his match on SmackDown. But even more shocking is that Edge's claim that Batista's WrestleMania opponent Randy Orton knew the ambush was coming and chose to do nothing about it. I called him before we did it, and I told him it was coming, says Edge. You can check my phone records, I've got nothing to hide. But I guess we can't say the same for a certain World Heavyweight title contender who put his own personal ambition ahead of his partnership and brand loyalty. But what do you expect from a SmackDown superstar? If I was stuck over there, I probably wouldn't be very loyal either. Randy Orton flatly denies Edge's claims. Edge has been trying to destroy SmackDown's WrestleMania main event for weeks, first physically and now with his little mind games. Batista knows that I've always had his back, and that hasn't changed. Batista was unavailable for comment as of press time. He and Randy Orton faced Edge and Chris Masters in a no-DQ Tornado Tag Team match tonight on SmackDown to settle their cross-brand feud once and for all before continuing on the road to WrestleMania this Sunday. There you go, and then now we're going to check out that tag match. There's actually different commentary for the entrances now.
You think
I gotta tell you, I'm really starting to get sick of these two, Taz. Why can't they just stay on Raw where they belong? Hey,
For once, we agree, Sally. I hope our guys give these two a SmackDown sayonara and send them back to Monday night with their tails between their scrawny little legs.
Well, this is definitely the kind of match to do it in. A no disqualification tornado tag team match.
Anything goes here tonight, Cole, and it's not going to be pretty. Kind of like the last game.
That's interesting. He's not making his entrance with Batista tonight.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
What I mean is that they've been inseparable for the last few weeks, at least in the ring.
Well, that makes sense. Batista's still hot about the fact that he didn't warn him about Edge and Master's little stick attack.
Oh, come on, Taz. You can't seriously believe that Edge is actually telling the truth.
Oh, yeah, right, of course. Because what reason would the challenger have to do something like that to a guy he's going to face for the title at the granddaddy of them all? Hello, WrestleMania.
Hope that Batista's not still hung up on whether or not his partner sold him out to Edge and Masters last week.
Let me say it again, nice and slow, so even you can understand it. He's not his partner. He's the challenger for the title. Doesn't that strike you as maybe the least bit significant? God, man, it's amazing you're still employed here.
Of course, if the rumors were true, but the fact is Batista's going to need to focus all of his attention on this match if he wants to get to WrestleMania in any shape.
Well, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some truth to what they said. When you get that close to gold, especially with WrestleMania coming up, you could do some crazy things. And it wouldn't be the first time we've seen some guys turn their back on each other for the World Heavyweight Championship.
They're sending a clear message to Edge and Masters.
Yeah, and the message is, get the hell out and don't come back. See ya. Thanks for coming.
Uh-oh, here we go. And to think, not long ago, these two were a united front for SmackDown. These two meet at the biggest event in sports entertainment for the most important prize in the business. And it all happens 3 days from now at WrestleMania.
Okay, here's what happens if Batista retains his world title at WrestleMania.
He did it. Batista retained the World Heavyweight title in one of the most incredible WrestleMania matches I've ever seen.
The champ was in top form tonight. He brought his A game. That's exactly what you got to do when you make it to the grand stage of them all here at WrestleMania.
And to give the challenger all the credit in the world, though, he fought an incredible match enough to win on a lot of nights, but it just wasn't enough.
But not for nothing, there's only one a year that's as big as WrestleMania.
Okay, and here is the magazine article if Batista retains his world title at WrestleMania. Still the champ, all for one and one for all. Batista might have retained the World Heavyweight title against Randy Orton at WrestleMania, but for many SmackDown fans, the true highlight of the year came in the weeks leading up to the granddaddy of them all, when Randy Orton and Batista teamed up to repel Raw's Edge and Chris Masters. Despite the fact that Randy Orton and Batista would be facing each other for the ultimate prize of the biggest pay-per-view of the year, their teamwork and brand unity rarely faltered. There were some rough spots between them right before WrestleMania, concedes SmackDown GM Teddy Long. Some accusations about one of them trying to get the advantage over the other, but you've got to expect that in a situation like this. The fact that Batista and Randy Orton stuck together as well as they did, even with the title match on the horizon, is a testament to the loyalty SmackDown superstars have to their brand. Batista is one of the greatest superstars in the business, says Randy Orton. There's a reason he was able to go with me and give as good as he got. I don't feel any shame in my performance. It was just his day, and it just happened to be one of the biggest days in our business. But let me tell you something, I'll have my day too. Maybe at WrestleMania or maybe not, but sooner or later that World Heavyweight title is coming home with me. Alright, next storyline to cover is the Rabid Wolverine and the Deadman. Okay, so the first thing to cover in this storyline is the WWE.com article is different depending on who wins the initial special guest referee match. So when I originally played this, The Undertaker won. So this is the article if Chris Benoit wins instead. Undertaker says last week proved nothing. Last week on Friday Night SmackDown, The Undertaker met Chris Benoit in a main event match that was supposed to determine once and for all who the dominant SmackDown superstar was. And despite the fact that The Undertaker did not win the match, he believes Benoit won a tainted victory. Last week was a charade, says the Deadman. It was supposed to be the ultimate showdown between myself and Chris Benoit. Instead, we were given a special guest referee who obviously had his own agenda. That special referee appointed by SmackDown GM Theodore Long was William Regal, and the Phenom had some strong words for him. Regal, if you thought you were doing Benoit a favor, think again. The only thing you proved was that Benoit cannot defeat me in a fair match, and you made the fatal mistake of turning my anger towards you. This week on SmackDown, you will pay the price for your actions. Theodore Long's office has confirmed that this Friday night's main event will be William Regal versus The Undertaker. Chris Benoit was unavailable for comment on this article. Okay, and the next thing to cover is the difference at No Mercy. So, the previous week there's a triple threat, and whoever gets pinned in that triple threat is not in the match. So you can either face The Undertaker or Chris Benoit. So I'm going to show you the entrance commentary if you face The Undertaker, and I'll also show you what happens if you lose this No Mercy match. So regardless if you lose to The Undertaker or Chris Benoit, the end match commentary is the same. So I'm just going to lose to one of them and show you.
This is the Deadman's chance to prove that he's the dominant superstar here on SmackDown, Taz.
I'm not sure how much Taker's got to prove, Cole. You're talking about one of the most decorated veterans in the business here.
There's no doubt The Undertaker is a legend in his own time, Taz, but we may be seeing the birth of a new legend here tonight at No Mercy. Can't say that I'm entirely surprised by the results.
One guy just got outclassed, Cole. Simple as that. And that's not hardly an insult considering who he was just up against.
You're right about that, and quite frankly, he should be proud that he made it as far as he did. You can't take anything away from him. He gave us a memorable pay-per-view match against a winner we can now rightfully call the most dominant superstar on SmackDown.
Alright, here's what happens if you actually are the one that's pinned in the triple threat the week before. It's kind of funny because the story just ends. So I'll show you the post-match commentary, and then, yeah, that's just where the story ends if you lose this match.
He gave it all he had, but it just wasn't enough. After losing here tonight, we now know which one of these superstars won't be going to No Mercy this Sunday.
That may be true, but hey, when you think about it, he should feel lucky to even walk out of here tonight.
Next storyline to cover, a Traitor of Smackdown? Okay, so the first major thing to talk about with this storyline is choosing who to accuse as the Traitor of Smackdown. So when I originally played, I accused Booker T, so I'm going to show you how it's different if you accuse Batista instead. So that starts here from this message from Teddy Long.
Player, it's Theodore Long. Listen, Booker just called me and says he thinks Batista is our traitor. Now, I'm inclined to agree that it looks bad. But I want us to be unanimous on this before we do anything. I need you to think about it, and let me know your decision. Holla.
Alright, then we can select an option here. So, do you agree with Booker that Batista is the traitor to Team SmackDown? Seems hard to believe, but yeah, I think Batista has turned traitor. He needs to be removed from Team SmackDown. Or I just can't see Batista turning traitor on SmackDown, which is the one I chose in my playthrough of this storyline. So this time, we're going to accuse Batista and show you what happens. Alright, so you'll see a different voice message from Batista if you accuse him, so here it is.
Hey, it's Batista. So you think I'm the one who let Triple H backstage to beat up Booker T? Do Do you remember anything about the history Triple H and I have had? If not, let me remind you, it's all bad. But if you want to drag my name through the mud, you and I can settle this in the ring tonight.
Alright, let's check out the WWE.com article for this one. Team SmackDown members to face off tonight. After a backstage confrontation that convinced Vince McMahon that Batista was the traitor on the SmackDown brand, Batista has requested a match against Mr. McMahon in an attempt to prove his innocence. SmackDown GM Teddy Long reluctantly made the match. I don't know what's going on here, says Long, but I hope Vince McMahon's wrong about Batista, and I hope they settle their differences before Survivor Series. Raw General Manager Shane McMahon crowed when he heard the news. Team SmackDown's fighting each other? Hell, they're doing our job for us. Okay, so now you see when you choose this alternate option, you end up facing Batista, just like the article on WWE.com said. So now I'm going to show you the entrance commentary for that.
Tell me honestly, Taz, do you really think Batista could be the traitor?
Do I think he could be? Sure, he could be. I could be. You could be. But I don't think this match is gonna get us any answers. Did I be? I don't know. Could he be?
You're probably right, partner, but tempers are flaring on Team SmackDown, and this might be just what they need to let off a little steam. I don't think I've ever witnessed a Survivor Series where the members of a brand's team faced up against each other before the pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's kind of an unorthodox situation, and I gotta say, I don't think it's gonna help Team SmackDown much at all.
I just hope that he and Batista get past this so that they can focus on their main goal, beating Team Raw in just under 2 weeks from now. To tell you the truth, Taz, I don't think that's a victory to celebrate under the circumstances. I think every SmackDown superstar wants to have.
I gotta agree, and don't forget, it looks like we're still not any closer to proving if Batista is a traitor or not.
Okay, then after the match, here's the voicemail you get from Booker T after your match with Batista on SmackDown.
Man, I can't wait to get me a piece of that traitor, Batista. That sucker set me up for an ambush. Now I'm gonna show him what it felt like. When we get in that ring, just stay out of my way. You dig?
Alright, and then the WWE.com article is also different in this path because it's a different match. I'll show you that real quick. Vince McMahon, Booker T to face Batista tonight. Despite the fact that Batista maintains that he is not the traitor on SmackDown, GM Teddy Long has approved a handicap match pitting Batista's Team SmackDown teammates against him tonight. There ain't a doubt in my mind Batista set me up for Triple H to take out, says Booker, and I'm looking for some payback. I'm not looking forward to this, says Mr. McMahon, but I'm not about to let Batista set SmackDown up for another invasion by a Raw superstar. Not only do I have my career to think about, I've got to protect SmackDown too. It's a sad day, says Teddy Long, but look at the facts. Batista was one of the only superstars who could have set Booker up, and he was tight with Triple H and Ric Flair from Team Raw when he first got into this business. It doesn't take Sherlock Holmes to put 2 and 2 together. The aforementioned handicap match will take place as the main event tonight on SmackDown. Alright, and just like the article said, you now have a handicap match against Batista, so I'll go ahead and show you the entrance commentary and then the unique cutscene you get after this match.
In some ways, seeing Batista make his way to the ring feels like watching a man walk down death row, Taz.
Yeah, I like Batista. I think he's a great superstar. But this is what has got to be done for the sake of SmackDown.
I have to admit I'm torn. If his accusers are right, Batista is a traitor to us all. But if they're wrong, an innocent man is being persecuted for a crime he did not commit.
Yeah, I gotta say, I don't know what's worse right now.
Can you dig it?
I know that Booker T's been looking forward to this match for a while, Taz.
Yeah, well, he's convinced Batista set him up to be attacked by Triple H a few weeks ago. So I can't exactly blame the guy, you know?
Can you dig it?
Even if these guys teach Batista a lesson here tonight, what does that mean for Team SmackDown at Survivor Series?
I got no idea. I think right now they're just trying to make sure Batista doesn't make it to Survivor Series because I think he's still technically be a part of the team. And you can't have a traitor in the ranks for something like that.
Booker threw Batista out of the ring like he was taking out the trash.
Think about it, sweetheart. He kind of was.
What the hell?
What's Booker doing?
Come on, what's going on now?
Booker's working with Team Raw.
Booker T was the traitor all along, and Flair set up Batista to make him look guilty. Oh my God, what an impact!
Oh man, this is bad news. Bad news for SmackDown. SmackDown just got played big time.
Someone's got to come out here and stop this.
Whoa! He's getting the hell beaten out of him. This is tough to watch.
Oh my God!
Can you dig it, sucker?
Okay, now here's the WWE.com article after Booker T betrays you in this path. Now, it has the same headline as the article from the other path where you accuse Booker T, but the text is different, so I'm going to include it here. Booker T not sorry for betraying SmackDown. Last week, Booker T was revealed to be the traitor on Team SmackDown, having faked his own mugging with the help of Triple H. Since then, his fans and fellow superstars have only one question for him. Why, Booker, why? Booker answers the question with a question. Why should I do anything for SmackDown, he asked. When has SmackDown ever done anything for me? As far as I can tell, it takes and never gives anything back. The train SmackDown left Team SmackDown one man short for Survivor Series, and Booker's deception went undiscovered until it was too late to make any changes to the team. Any changes after the deadline would have to be approved by Raw GM Shane McMahon, which will not happen for obvious reasons, making the Survivor Series match a 2-on-3 contest between Team SmackDown, Vince McMahon and Batista, and Team Raw, John Cena, Triple H, and Ric Flair. McMahon figures prominently into Booker's career plans as well. Shane O'Mac knows how to treat his superstars, says Booker. In WCW, I was a 5-time champion, and Shane tells me that when Team Raw wins tonight, he's got a place waiting for me on the Raw roster. I can't wait. As far as Batista is concerned, he's obviously still bitter about the accusations made in his direction over the past few weeks, as well as the hardship attached to them by General Manager Teddy Long. Am I resentful? What the hell do you think? I was innocent and treated like a traitor to my own company. And the song is blocking the way, that's great. Yeah, I intended to get my revenge on Booker T, but let's face it, Vince McMahon and Teddy Long chose to turn on me based on the word of a traitor and a liar. I won't forget this, and I can't say I'll forgive it either. We'll just have to see where the smoke clears after Survivor Series. That's what's most important here, because unlike those other guys, all I want to do is what's best for SmackDown. So there you go. You could argue this is the worst path because you don't figure out Booker's plans till the end, so it's too late, so Survivor Series becomes a handicap match instead of having 3-on-3 like the other choice where you accuse Booker. So there you go. Alright, and like the article says, the Survivor Series match now becomes a handicap match in this path, so I'll show you what happens if you win it and if you lose it. Now, for some reason, there's no entrance commentary in this, so you're going to be seeing post-match commentary in the magazine article.
Oh my God, they did it, they did it. Team SmackDown has just won the Survivor Series main event. I don't believe it. Talk about overcoming the odds. I'm so happy. I can kiss you, young lady. You're so pretty.
Easy there, partner. I'm flattered, but don't get too excited.
Hey, I said almost, all right? But man, what a match. And despite the problems this team has had the past month, what a great victory for SmackDown.
Alright, so here is the magazine article if you win the Survivor Series match. SmackDown. Team SmackDown emerges victorious at Survivor Series. Team SmackDown proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that SmackDown was the superior brand of sports entertainment when they defeated the heavily favored Team Raw in a 2-on-3 handicap match at Survivor Series. Team SmackDown members Vince McMahon and Batista admit to some doubts about each other, doubts they overcame in order to work together to successfully win as a team. As every SmackDown fan knows by now, it was Booker T who was the traitor on Team SmackDown, faking a beating at the hands of Triple H in a SmackDown parking garage. Booker allegedly planned to jump to Raw after Survivor Series to escape the wrath of his brand and benefit from favors promised to him by Raw General Manager Shane McMahon. However, an inquiry into the validity of these rumors resulted in the following response from the Raw GM's office. Neither Raw nor Shane McMahon has plans to have any dealings with Booker T at the present time. With nowhere left to go, it looks like Booker T will have to remain on SmackDown, the brand he betrayed, something that makes SmackDown GM Teddy Long chuckle. I feel kind of sorry for old Booker T, he says. I don't think his next few weeks are going to be very pleasant. In fact, I can guarantee they won't.
Well, there you have it, Chaz. Team Raw has won the main event here in Survivor Series. And after looking witness here over the past month, I can't say I'm surprised.
Well, even though it's Booker T and them, we haven't talked about team, I'm not going to cry about it.
To hell with them. We know that SmackDown's the better brand, and we don't need to win a damn match to prove it.
Okay, and here's the magazine article if Team Raw wins the match. Raw deal. Team Raw emerges victorious at Survivor Series. Team SmackDown suffered a crushing blow at this year's Survivor Series as they lost the traditional tag team elimination match to their nemesis, Team Raw. Despite the talent on SmackDown's side, the result was not widely considered a shock given the distraction faced by team members over the past month leading up to the pay-per-view. Team SmackDown found themselves in a swell of circumstances both treacherous and controversial. Circumstances that, in the end of the day, they were simply not able to overcome. As every SmackDown fan knows by now, it was Booker T who was the traitor of Team SmackDown, faking a beating at the hands of Triple H in a SmackDown parking garage. Booker allegedly planned to jump to Raw after Survivor Series to escape the wrath of his brand and benefit from the favors promised to him by Raw General Manager Shane McMahon. However, an inquiry into the validity of these rumors resulted in the following response from the General Manager's office. Neither Raw nor Shane McMahon have any plans to have any dealings with Booker T at the present time. Regardless of the fate of Booker T, SmackDown will have to wait one long and painful year in order to even score next Thanksgiving. I'm as much at fault here as anyone else, except Booker T, of course, stated Teddy Long after the conclusion of the match. And believe me, it breaks my heart to not come out of the Survivor Series with a victory. I thought that despite the shape of our team was in, we'd be able to pull out of it in the end, but I guess that just wasn't meant to be. Still, Team Raw had better be ready because it's going to be a different story next year. Believe that. Alright, next storyline is Mr. Mark Henry. Alright, so the only thing I'm really going to cover in this storyline that I think is worth mentioning is what happens if you lose the triple threat match at Armageddon. So it's just going to be a different WWE.com article, so let's check it out. Okay, so here is the WWE.com article if you lose the triple threat. It's only just slightly different than if you win, but I figured I'd include it. Dust settles after Armageddon. Tonight's triple threat match at Armageddon seems to have ended a grudge that played across the last month of SmackDown programming. In speaking to all three superstars, WWE.com found that all three of them consider the matter settled for different reasons. Look, I might not have come out with my arms raised, said Daivari, but I still held my own against Kennedy and Mark Henry in the same match. And if either one of them thinks they've got a chance against me mano a mano, they better stop and reconsider. Not really mad anymore, says Mark Henry. A little hungry maybe, and pretty sore actually. I'm having kind of a hard time remembering why I was so angry in the first place. If these two jokers think I'm going to lower myself to getting in the ring with them again, they've got another thing coming, says Kennedy. I'm sure they enjoyed the rub they got from stepping between the ropes with me, but I'm not willing to help them build their careers at the expense of my own. There's only room for one superstar at the top of SmackDown, and his name is Mr. Kennedy. Kennedy, added Kennedy. There you go. Alright, next story to cover is Chivalry. Okay, for this storyline, the major thing to cover is what happens if you lose at No Way Out. So again, just a different magazine article and stuff like that, so let's get into it.
You've got to be kidding me. Is there no justice in the world? Randy Orton and Joey Hall has spent the last month ambushing the superstars, and now he's rewarded with a Wrestlemania title match for their efforts?
That's the way it goes. You gotta give them credit. They stuck to their plan. They say behind every great man there is a woman, and that woman, well, she certainly has a great behind.
Could you please get serious for a minute, Tag? I can't condone the actions of these two tonight, and as a longtime ECW champion, I know you can't.
Okay, now here's the magazine article if you lose to Randy Orton and Jillian Hall at No Way Out. Dangerous liaisons. Femme Fatale. At the beginning of last month, Randy Orton was scheduled to compete against 3 other superstars at No Way Out to earn a #1 contender status for the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania. By the time No Way Out rolled around, that number had shrunk to just 1, and Randy Orton credits Jillian Hall for making that happen. Jillian told me that she was willing to do whatever it takes to get me in the main event at WrestleMania, says Orton. I had no idea she was talking about taking out the competition for me. Honestly, when I first found out, it shocked the hell out of me, but it worked, so I wasn't about to tell her to stop. Jillian's only regret is that she couldn't go 3 for 3. I was seconds away from getting rid of Snitsky, she says, and then Melina had to butt in, and I do mean butt. That girl's got some serious junk in the trunk if you ask me. Regardless, the couple's plan ultimately succeeded when they were able to defeat Snitsky and Melina in a mixed tag team match. Everyone knows that a superstar of the caliber of the Legend Killer couldn't have been left out of WrestleMania altogether, he says. And here I am in the main event right where I belong. And the best part is that I've got years and years left in my career. With a girl like Jillian by my side, there's no limit to what we can accomplish. And he might be right. The future's certainly looking bright for the Legend Killer. But a word of advice from us to him, make sure Jillian stays by your side, Randy, and don't let her get behind you. Alright, next storyline to cover is Hollywood goes WrestleMania. Alright, so a couple of things to cover in this storyline. The first thing I want to cover is what happens if you lose to Eminem the week before WrestleMania, which is pretty funny because the story just ends. I'll show you the post-match commentary also.
I don't believe it. After all their weaseling and conniving, Eminem just pulled the WrestleMania title match right out from under them.
Come on. You want to go to WrestleMania, you gotta earn it. These guys had their shot, and they didn't deliver. Plain and simple. Better luck next year, I guess.
Okay, now the last thing to show you is what happens if you make it to WrestleMania, but you lose the ladder match against Eminem.
Well, disappointing as it may be, after everything they've pulled, Eminem is leaving WrestleMania with the tag team titles.
I don't think this crowd's any happier than you are, Cole. But what are you going to do about it? They won the match fair and square. Tonight, they were just a better team. It's as simple as that.
I know you're right, partner, but it just burns me up to see a couple of guys behave the way Eminem does and never get what's coming to them.
Maybe so, but can you imagine the after-party Eminem are going to have tonight in Hollywood? I mean, think about who's going to be there. Gwyneth, Jennifer, Tyra, Taz, Ashley, Lindsley.
Hold on a second. Did you just say Taz?
Well, you know, Nitz. I like to, hang out with Eminem in Hollywood sometimes. It's a pretty cool scene, man. Hang out with all my cats.
Alright, next storyline to cover is the Royal Rumble. Alright, so for this next storyline, before we get into one of the alternate outcomes, I also want to cover the alternate cast members. So a little bit of a backstory on this. So when I originally played this, I had the alternate cast members. So it made Randy Orton the antagonist of this. That's because I played as Matt Hardy, who was involved in the default cast of this storyline. So the default cast in the storyline, JBL is the antagonist. So what I want to show you is those default cast members rather than the alternate ones I got. I was really debating on whether to include alternate cast member, but there's only like I think 2 storylines that have alternate cast members. And I figured since I'm going all out for this video, let's go ahead and include them. So here we go. Here's the cutscenes with the alternate, or I guess in this case, the default cast members we did not see in my playthrough.
What's up, player? What can I do for you?
Well, this must be some sort of oversight. Can you tell me why I'm not in the Royal Rumble this year?
Well, I'll be damned. It wasn't intentional. Believe that. You're one of my top guys, dawg. But unfortunately, there's not a lot I can do. SmackDown's 15 slots are all filled. The only way I could get you in would be to kick someone else out.
Hey, Theodore Long, what is the big idea of making me the #1 entrant for the Royal Rumble?
Now you know as well as I do, this year we had a random entry.
Well, you better unrandom it, and quick. If I have to go in at #1, then with 29 guys I have to beat, anything can happen, even to a wrestling god.
So let me get this straight, player. You find being the #1 entrant in the Rumble unacceptable?
You're damn straight it's unacceptable. A superstar of my stature.
How about you, player?
I'll take anything I can get at this point.
All right then, you're out. You're in. 2 birds, 1 stone, players.
You can't do this to me!
I just did. Holla, holla, holla.
Yeah, that's me. Lucky number 13.
Yeah, mine isn't so good.
That's right. Read 'em and weep, fellas.
29? All right.
What a waste. You're sorry, but we'll get tossed out by number 30.
Are you kidding me? I could come in at #1 and still win the whole thing.
Oh, really? Want to put that to the test? You and me, one-on-one tonight. No disqualifications. The winner gets your number, and the loser gets mine.
Wait a minute.
Hey, let me in on the action. Let's make it a no DQ triple threat. Winner gets the highest number, loser gets the lowest.
What about it, tough guy? Willing to put your spot where your mouth is?
You're not backing down, are you?
No way. I'll see you two out there.
Hold on a minute. I think he's up to something here.
I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Whoa, easy there, pal. I'm not looking for a fight. I've got everything I need to beat you right here in my hand.
What are you talking about? You know you couldn't beat me on your best day.
You're already beat, pal. It specifically says right here in my Royal Rumble contract that the contract is fully notarized, binding, and non-transferable.
Okay, so what does that mean?
It means that Teddy Long had no legal right to give you my Royal Rumble spot. So I just want to thank you for all the hard work you put in to try and improve my Royal Rumble entry number.
Alright, now I'm going to show you what happens if you lose the ladder match against either JBL or Randy Orton, depending on which cast members you get, and then you don't get in the Royal Rumble. So here we go.
We'll talk about a reversal of fortune, Taz. We've got one superstar excluded out of the Royal Rumble because of his own bad attitude, but now he's legitimately fought and won his way back in.
And we've got another guy who was originally left out due to an oversight. And even fought for a better entry number. But now that the smoke's cleared, he's on the short end of the stick again.
Okay, now here's the voicemail you get if you lose the ladder match to either Orton or JBL.
That was a tough loss, player. And believe me, I'd much rather have you in the Royal Rumble than the man who beat you tonight. But a deal's a deal, and I've got to honor it. But don't beat yourself up too bad, player. You might not be in the Royal Rumble, but WrestleMania's only 2 months away, and I might just find some other plans for you. Holla!
There you go, and you can see obviously in the post-match commentary as well as this voicemail, they don't directly say JBL or Orton won, obviously, so they can reuse the same lines for both guys. So there you go. Okay, next storyline, Bounty Hunter, The Hunted. Okay, so there's actually a pretty decent amount of stuff to cover with this storyline, so here we go. So first off, just like the Royal Rumble storyline, this is an alternate set of cast members. So when I originally played, the antagonist was JBL when I first played the storyline, but the alternate set, the antagonist can be Randy Orton as well. And then also like the, I guess I don't know if you would call it like the secondary character of the storyline can either be Booker T, which is what I had when I originally played it, or it can also be Chris Benoit.
Looks like we got a couple of bounty hunters here, Cole.
And that man's having none of it.
I can't blame him, Cole. It ain't his fight. He changed his mind, Cole. He wants the bounty for himself.
No, I don't think that's it.
Holy smokes, he's on fire. He's cleaning house.
He's not here for the bounty. He's here to stop the mugging.
What a guy. Go, man, go.
Well, well, well. Look who it is. The man who stuck his nose in where it didn't belong. You better be careful, pal, because that's a good way to lose it.
Is that supposed to be some kind of threat?
Wow, I can see who got all the brains in your family. Yeah, that's supposed to be some kind of threat? You stay out of my business, or my business becomes your business. And believe me, you don't want that.
Yeah, you're right. I don't want that. But when you start putting bounties on superstars, I start to wonder if I'm gonna be next.
Don't be ridiculous. You haven't got anything I want, pal.
Okay, so here's where you get your first choice in the storyline. So basically, the secondary person in the storyline, either Booker T or Chris Benoit, sends you a voicemail. So here we go. So here's the Benoit version. We've already covered the Booker T version when I played the storyline on video.
All right, listen up. I've got a match against one of the guys who tried to cash in on your bounty week. And I just had a bad conversation in the parking lot with a man who wants you taken out of the Wrestlemania picture. That makes me think that I've got an unwanted surprise coming my way. You didn't ask me to help you last week, but I did. Now I'm calling in that favor. So I'm asking you, do you have my back tonight?
Alright, so now when I originally played this, like I said, it was Booker T, but I chose to manage him. And then if you do that, it's just you just manage him, and then the post-match is just a generic cutscene. But if you choose to let him fight his own battles, you actually get a different cutscene, different voicemails. So we're gonna not manage Chris Benoit here. And again, I will cover the alternate voicemails with Booker T as well, but I'm just not doing the Booker T one here because we already saw it. So here we go.
This is tough to watch.
He kept something like this from happening last week, but it doesn't look like anyone's going to keep it from happening this week.
Yeah, you don't see no cavalry coming either, Cole. It's like Joey Numbers used to say, no good deed goes unpunished.
Okay, so here's the angry voicemail you get for choosing not to manage the person. So here's Chris Benoit, and after this, I'll play you Booker T's.
What the hell was that last week? I saved you from getting your ass kicked, and I get my own beat down as a thank you? Forget you, man. If those goons want you, they can have you. I'm done.
Alright, and you can see now the fallout from that is you do not have a manager in your next match. So now I'll show you what happens after this match.
Apart like a pack of jackals. The exact same fate he left his one-time rescuer to last week.
You know, I hate admitting when you're right, Cole, but this time you are. So I won't, but you know what I mean? It looks painful anyway.
Don't look now, but here comes the mastermind behind this assault.
You see what you get? You see what you get when you mess with someone like me, you piece of trash? That WrestleMania title match is mine. Do you hear me?
This is despicable. Someone's got to get out here and stop this.
Who's gonna do it? Don't forget, this guy drove away the only superstar who was willing to give him a hand.
Okay, now here's the voicemail you get after you get attacked after your match. Now, I guess this one doesn't have voiceover. I'll have to double check if the Booker T version is voiceover, but I guess I'll just be reading this one. How are you feeling after that beatdown those guys put on you last week? I can't believe you even showed up tonight. You know that if you're here, you're just gonna get some more of the same, right? Maybe now you'll understand that you need someone watching your back. The first time I did it, it was a favor. I shouldn't have done it. And if you want my help now, it's going to cost you.
Let's cut to the chase. You're offering $100,000 to the man who can take me out. But I've got a better idea. How about you put that bounty on the line, and I'll put up my #1 contender status for a title match at WrestleMania. You and me can settle it this Sunday at No Way Out.
Whoa! He's risking his #1 contendership? If he loses the match, he loses his title opportunity at WrestleMania.
Not for nothing, young lady. There's $100,000 at stake.
Whoa, hold on. You're going to reward him for trying to take you out? I've got a better idea. How about the two of us take him and his goons out right here tonight? And as a thank you, you put that WrestleMania title match on the line against me this Sunday.
An impressive counteroffer. Which one will he choose?
Alright, so here's another choice. You can either choose to defend against Chris Benoit and or Booker T, depending on which cast members you get, or you can face Randy Orton in No Way Out, and then the $100,000 is on the line. So, we're going to be covering it all here. So, first I'm going to show you what happens if you choose to face Randy Orton / JBL, the antagonist of the story, in the $100,000 match. Alright, and then you see after you choose to face either Orton or JBL, there's a WWE.com article. Now, with this, it's the same article, it just substitutes out either Orton or JBL. So, Stephanie McMahon versus Orton at No Way Out this Sunday. In breaking news, WWE.com has just learned that Stephanie McMahon will be putting her #1 contender status for the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania on the line against Randy Orton this Sunday at No Way Out. In exchange, Orton will put $100,000 of his own money on the line as well. SmackDown General Manager Theodore Long has announced that to prevent outside interference, the match will be a steel cage match. Despite accepting the offer, or perhaps because of it, Orton has refused to call off his bounty hunting dogs Super Crazy and Psychosis. They will face Stephanie McMahon in a handicap match tonight. Chris Benoit, who had once offered his assistance to Stephanie only to be rebuffed, could not be reached for comment. There you go. It substitutes either out Orton or JBL or the goons, they're going to call them. So in this case, it's Super Crazy and Psychosis. The other cast members, it's Hardcore Holly and William Regal, I believe. So there you go. Okay, now here is the magazine article if you choose to take on either Orton or JBL in the $100,000 match. Now, the article is only slightly different depending on the names, but the picture's different, so I'll show you both versions. So here's the Randy Orton version, the next champ. Randy Orton, the next World Heavyweight Champion? Randy Orton is a man who's used to getting what he wants, and when he realized that he would not be going to WrestleMania to compete for the World Heavyweight title, he let his checkbook do the talking and put a $100,000 bounty on the head of the #1 contender, Stephanie McMahon. Like all good investments, it has paid huge dividends. Stephanie McMahon has agreed to put her #1 contender status on the line in a cage match at No Way Out in exchange for Orton putting the bounty on the line as well. What does it tell you, asked Orton? It tells you that she's scared of what a man of my means can do. She didn't force me into doing anything. She bribed me with a chance at a WrestleMania main event match to get me to stop making her life a living hell. Is that the kind of superstar you want representing SmackDown? Orton laughed at the suggestion that being inside of a steel cage handicaps him in any way. Stephanie McMahon thinks that she's safe from the outside interference in a steel cage. But what apparently she hasn't stopped to realize is that she's locking herself with the most dangerous son of a bitch on SmackDown. But she'll figure out soon enough when I walk out of No Way Out with her title shot in one hand and my $100,000 in the other. Okay, the next thing I want to cover here is, yes, it actually is a $100,000 match. So take a look at my cash right here, and then we'll compare it to after I win the match. So here we go. All right, here we go. So in this pack, this is the No Way Out cage match against Randy Orton. So I'll show you the win and the loss and all that stuff, and the entrance commentary, post-match commentary, all that.
Well,
here we are at No Way Out, and Taz, the title opportunity at WrestleMania is on the line in this very next matchup.
This guy shocked the world when he put up a $100,000 bounty on the head of the #1 contender right after the Royal Rumble.
I say that he suffered from a classic case of sour grapes once he lost his chance for a title opportunity. He's been a menace on SmackDown ever since.
Jeez, Cole, sour grapes. You think that he's got $100 grand burning a hole in his pocket? He better be able to buy some fresh grapes or whatever. I guess not.
As we saw this past Friday, this man had to endure a 2-on-1 handicap match against would-be bounty hunters. Taz, you have to wonder just what kind of shape he'll be in tonight after what went down on SmackDown.
It's true. He may not be 100% tonight or even close to it. But do you think he cares? He earned his title shot, and he's got a chance tonight to get a little payback on a superstar.
And the word payback has never been more appropriate. If he wins this match, he not only retains his WrestleMania title opportunity, he walks out of here with $100,000.
You're not going to get more motivation to win a match than that. This is going to be intense.
He won the match and retained his #1 contender status for the World Heavyweight title. Not to mention the fact that he just collected the very $100,000 bounty his opponent put on his head.
$100 grand, wow. That's a nice payday, no doubt. But even more important, he's still going to WrestleMania to meet the champ.
The road to WrestleMania continues, and this man remains in the fast lane.
All right, now here's the WWE.com article if you win against either Orton or JBL at No Way Out. But first, I'll show you my cash here so you can see it is up $100,000 plus a little bit extra for the match. So you get paid for the match and the 100K bonus. So it actually is $100,000 you get, or WWE cash, sorry. And then here is the WWE.com article. Stephanie McMahon retains title opportunity. Stephanie McMahon has retained her #1 contender status for the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania, defeating Randy Orton in a brutal cage match at No Way Out. After everything I've gone through to earn this title opportunity, nobody can say that I don't deserve to headline the biggest event of the year. And when I leave WrestleMania with the World Heavyweight title, no one will be able to deny that I am the greatest superstar in sports entertainment today. Stephanie McMahon put her title opportunity on the line against Orton in exchange for Orton agreeing to wager the $100,000 bounty he put on Stephanie McMahon on the outcome of the match. And Orton has a suggestion for what Stephanie McMahon can do with her windfall. Stephanie McMahon got lucky tonight, plain and simple. There's not a SmackDown fan in the world who doesn't realize that I deserve the main event of WrestleMania, whether they want to admit it or not. So if Stephanie comes back with the World Heavyweight title, I suggest she take that $100,000 of my money and hire herself some protection, or take an extended vacation somewhere far, far away, because there is nothing I will not do and nowhere I will not go to take that title back that is rightfully mine. And again, I'm not going to show the JBL version because it's the same thing, just it swaps out the string for JBL. I don't really think there's a point to it. There you go. All right, here's what happens if Orton or JBL wins.
No one will believe it. All these weeks of his underhanded tactics have finally paid off. What kind of message does this send about SmackDown?
It says persistence pays off, Cole. He keeps his $100 grand and gets something you can't put a price on. A title match against the World Heavyweight Champion in the main event of WrestleMania.
The former #1 contender has got to be beside himself right now. I can't imagine the emotions running through his mind.
Well, you got to be the best of the best by hook or crook to get the SmackDown main event spot. And he just got out.
All right, now here is the WWE.com article if either JBL or Randy Orton, depending on who you get, wins at No Way Out. Stephanie McMahon loses WrestleMania title opportunity. Despite giving her all in a brutal cage match at No Way Out, Stephanie McMahon was not able to emerge victorious against Randy Orton in the match that was to determine the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania. Stephanie McMahon, the former #1 contender, put her title opportunity on the line against Orton in exchange for Orton agreeing to wager the $100,000 bounty he put on Stephanie McMahon on the outcome of the match. Stephanie McMahon was unavailable for comment as the press time, but Orton was eager to share his thoughts with WWE.com. I've been saying it all along, there's one man who deserves to main event WrestleMania, and that's Randy Orton. I overcame every obstacle put in my way, including an undeserving number 1 contender and a biased general manager. And using nothing but my skill, my drive to succeed, and $100,000 of my own money, I earned myself a title opportunity at the greatest event in sports entertainment. And you can bet that when WrestleMania is over, the World Heavyweight Championship will be around my waist where it belongs.
This is tough to watch.
He kept something like this from happening last week, but it doesn't look like anyone's going to keep it from happening this week.
Yeah, you don't see no cavalry coming either, Cole. It's like Joey Numbers used to say, no good deed goes unpunished.
Alright, now here's the angry voicemail you get from Booker T if you choose not to manage him.
What the hell was that last week? I saved you from getting your ass kicked. And I get my own beat down as a thank you. Forget you. Man, if those schools want you, they can have you. I'm done.
Okay, now here is the alternate beatdown with JBL instead of Randy Orton. Which is pretty much the same, but again, I figure I'm going to include it because there is voiceover that's different.
These two are tearing him apart like a pack of jackals. The exact same fate he left his one-time rescuer to last week.
You know, I hate admitting when you're right, Cole, but this time you are. So I won't, but you know what I mean? It looks painful anyway.
This assault.
You see what you get? You see what you get when you mess with someone like me, you piece of trash! That WrestleMania Championship match is mine. Do you hear me?
This is despicable. Someone's got to get out here and stop this.
Who's gonna do it? Don't forget, this guy drove away the only superstar who was willing to give him a hand.
Alright, now here's the voicemail you get from Booker T after you get beat down by JBL. Now what's interesting about this one, it does have voiceover, but the Benoit one didn't. I don't know why, but here we go.
How are you feeling after that beatdown those guys put on you last week? I can't believe you even showed up tonight. You know that if you were here, you were just going to get more of the same, right? Maybe now you will understand that you need someone watching your back. The first time I did it, it was a favor I shouldn't have done. And now if you want my help, it's gonna cost you.
Okay, here's the alternate magazine cover if JBL is the antagonist of the storyline. So again, same thing, so I'm not gonna read this, but I just wanted to show the alternate cover. Alright, now the last thing to cover here is what happens if you lose to either Booker T or Chris Benoit at No Way Out. So I'll show you that post-match commentary as well as the article. Again, the article is the same, just it swaps out certain names. So I'm only going to show one of them, but here you go.
Can you dig it, sucker?
Well, Taz, it looks as if the main event for WrestleMania has just changed drastically. Hey, Eddie Long is not going to be happy about that. That's a whole lot of t-shirts. He's going to be happy to get rid of.
And I can't imagine what must be going through the mind of the former #1 contender right now.
It's a tough break for sure, Cole. But let's face it, only the best of the best get to go on to the big dance, and that's just not him this year.
Alright, now here's the WWE.com article if you lose to either Booker T or Chris Benoit. The Great Khali loses WrestleMania title opportunity. Despite giving it his all in a brutal cage match at No Way Out, the Great Khali was not able to emerge victorious against Chris Benoit in the match. What? I swear I just fought Booker T. Is this a glitch or is it? It could be messed up because I'm modifying the game so much, but whatever. It could be either Benoit or Booker T. Match to determine the number one contender for the World Heavyweight title. At WrestleMania, the Great Khali, the former number one contender, put his title opportunity on the line against Booker. Oh, what? Why do I have Booker and Benoit? That's so weird. Maybe I'll go back and check to see if it glitches if I fight Benoit, but we'll see. Great Khali, the former number one contender, put his title opportunity on the line against Booker in exchange for Booker's assistance in fending off the attacks of the other SmackDown superstars, looking to earn $100,000 bounty put on Khali by John Bradshaw Layfield. It's not hard to feel a little bad for Khali, says Booker. If it hadn't been for that stupid bounty, he wouldn't have had to put his title opportunity on the line. But if he couldn't make it to the title match, what kind of champion would he have been? There's at least one superstar in the SmackDown locker room who has no regrets about the way things played out, and that's the instigator of the Great Khali's troubles, JBL. Sure, I'd love to be the one going to the main event at WrestleMania, but let's face it, that's not going to happen as long as we got a general manager like Teddy Long, who's obviously biased against me. I put that bounty on the Great Khali, and I promised that he wouldn't get his title opportunity at WrestleMania, and that's exactly what happened. As far as I'm concerned, that mission's accomplished. Okay, I almost forgot this one. This is if you choose to manage the person, which I did in my playthrough of Booker T, but since I didn't cover the alternate cast members choosing to manage, here is if you have Chris Benoit's back in the voice message he sends you.
Hey, just wanted to thank you for watching my back last week against those goons. I really appreciate it. I'm going to return the favor tonight in your match. See you out there.
Okay, and here's the magazine cover if you choose to give Chris Benoit a shot at the number one contendership. Now, again, like I said in my original playthrough, I chose to face Booker T, so we have seen that cover in my playthrough. And then this text is pretty much the same. It just replaces, Booker T's name with Chris Benoit, so I'm not going to read it. But there you go. That's all the magazine covers. Okay, so curiosity got the better of me, so I did test the alternate cast members. I lost to Benoit this time, and look, just like when I lost to Booker T, it's switched now. So now it says Booker T, so William Regal was not able to emerge victorious against Booker T. Then we go down a few lines, and it says, put his title opportunity against Benoit in exchange for Benoit's assistance. So they must have messed this up, and I don't really remember this at all. Again, it's been a while since I've checked all the alternate cast member stuff, but yeah, it looks like they messed this up and nobody caught it here. So the beginning paragraph, it has displayed the wrong person, and then the later, well, I guess it's not really a paragraph, the beginning sentences display the wrong person, and then the later half has the correct person. So wow, that's really weird, but there you go. Curiosity got better me, so I chose to test it real quick. Alright, next storyline to cover is Rescue the Princess. Alright, first thing to show off here is what happens if you lose the WWE Championship match in Week 4 against Hulk Hogan. Now, what's funny about this is your story just ends. So I'll show you the post-match commentary if Hogan wins.
It's not as if he's never held a world title before. You're right about that. But think about it. To return to WWE after such a long hiatus and recapture a title, that's simply incredible. Do you think you'll give me a title defense at WrestleMania?
Okay, so next thing to cover is what happens if you choose to side with Roddy Piper. So that's going to be different voicemails, I think one different cutscene, and stuff like that. So here we go.
Hey, champ. It's Hot Rod. I bet you I'm the last guy you expected to hear from, didn't you, huh? I hear that old Vince has drafted you into helping him with his little princess and getting her back. I know. He made a big show of it to you, didn't he? All first angry, in that varicose vein, in his nose stumping, and then showing that soft, delicate side, that feminine side he has. Did he shed a tear, huh? Oh, I bet he did. Oh. Well, listen up. Vince McMahon doesn't give a damn about you. I was one of his biggest stars. But did I get a call when he started bringing in these so-called legends? No! He uses people and throws them away when he's done, just like he'll do to you. And as soon as he gets his little girl back, you will be mud. So here's my counteroffer. I've got something he wants. That gives me power over him. You work with me, and we control the most powerful man in sports entertainment.
So what do you say, champ, huh? I know it would be really stupid.
Alright, and here's where you get your choice. So when I originally played this, I sided against Piper. So this time we're going to choose the other option. Piper is right. Vince may need my help now, but he's just going to kick me to the curb once I've done his dirty work for him. Well, I'm not that dumb. I'm siding with the Hot Rod. And by the way, that Piper voice message is probably the best voice message in the game, with his delivery and how he goes off script to make it feel more like injecting his personality into it. Well, I mean, one of the greatest talkers of all time, Rowdy Piper. Rip to the legend. But here we go. This is what happens when you side with Rowdy Piper. Alright, now here's some of the follow-up voicemails when you side with Piper.
Hey, champ. I just heard that one of Vince's pathetic suck-ups, Cactus Jack, is in a bar near the arena. If we were going to take Vince apart, we've got to wreck this so-called Legends initiative that he's put together. So your first mission, if you choose to decide upon it, is to go there and take him down. I wish I could do it to myself, but I'm babysitting a princess.
Okay, so this next voicemail is after you fight Cactus Jack in the barroom brawl.
All right, champ. It's time to prove to Vince and his stooges that there's nowhere they can go we can't find him. That bootlicking, ass-kissing Bam Bam Bigelow is headed to the parking lot right now. Get down there and take him out. Give him one for me, would you?
Alright, now here's the voicemail you get from Vince McMahon after the parking lot brawl versus Bam Bam Bigelow.
Alright, listen to me, you son of a bitch, and you listen good. I'll be damned if I'll let you come to my arena and do whatever the hell you want. Who the hell do you think you are? You show your face here tonight, and I'll make sure you get the beating of a lifetime. I'll even call it a match, just so no one goes to jail for taking out trash like you. Yeah? You just come on down.
Okay, now here's the WWE.com article you get when you side with Piper right after the message from Vince. Piper calls out McMahon. It has been 2 weeks since Rowdy Piper kidnapped Stephanie McMahon from an arena parking garage. Over that time, Piper has enlisted Steve Austin on missions to single-handedly dismantle McMahon's stable of WWE legends. With each strike, they have become bolder, and tonight they're vowing to appear on Raw. I'm sick of running from Vince Jr., says the Rowdy one in a phone message to WWE.com. If he's looking for me and Steve Austin, we're going to make ourselves real easy to find. We're going to show up to his own backyard. Go ahead, throw anything you got at us, Jr. We can take it. What was not made clear is that Piper intends to bring Stephanie McMahon to the arena as well. I don't know what the expletive is playing at, says McMahon, but he's about to learn the hard way that nobody expletive with Vincent Kenny McMahon. Damn it. Alright, and then you can see when you show up to Raw, you have a match against Hulk Hogan, so I'm going to show you the entrance commentary for that. And then as well as the post-match.
Well, here's the last superstar I'd ever have expected to see in the arena tonight. I have to say it, there's no way I'll ever condone the actions of this man. But you've got to give him credit for having the guts to show up like he promised, especially after everything he's done to Mr. McMahon.
There's a fine line between guts and stupidity, JR. And this guy's crossed it a long time ago.
That's probably true, King. But the big question on my mind is, if he's here, then where the hell is Piper? And more importantly, just where is the real victim in all of this, Stephanie McMahon?
Well, it's obvious to me that he was too chicken to face Mr. McMahon face to face. And who can blame him? I wouldn't be anywhere in the same state as Mr. McMahon if I were him right now.
I know this man is an all-time great WWE legend and can take care of himself. But I've got to wonder about Mr. McMahon's decision to send him out here without any backup. After all, the champion has already beaten him once, and this is a no disqualification match.
Yeah, but with poor Stephanie still missing, the stakes are high now. Even higher than a championship. And I never thought I'd say that. Plus, like you said, JR, we're still talking about one of the greatest WWE superstars ever here. I don't believe what I'm seeing. I think these guys might really have just taken over WWE.
They're holding all the cards, that's for sure, King.
All right, Vince. I know you're back there, and as you can see, I've still got your daughter. And now she's going to tell you exactly what I want.
Please, Dad, he's crazy. Piper will do anything. Please give him exactly what he wants. A match for this man's championship.
What the hell? Is Piper demanding a shot at his allies' championship? And his victim, Stephanie, is going to make it happen? My God, they just turned on the champion.
Poor Stephanie. She must still be delirious.
Mr. McMahon must be watching. Why isn't he doing anything about this?
It couldn't have happened to a nicer guy, if you ask me.
Okay, here is the WWE.com article after Rowdy Piper and Stephanie betray you after the match against Hogan. McMahon joins forces with the Hot Rod. And shocking turn of events, Vince and Stephanie McMahon turned on Steve Austin, joining forces with Rowdy Piper, the man who kidnapped her 2 weeks ago on Raw. Following Stephanie's re-emergence from what was assumed to be an unwilling captivity, WWE.com was able to contact McMahon and hear their side of the story. I can't believe you people thought that anyone, even someone as unpredictable and dangerous as Rowdy Piper, would dare put their hands on the billion-dollar princess, says Stephanie. My father and I set this up with Piper weeks ago, and Steve Austin was dumb enough to fall for it, just like all of his idiot fans did. I suppose I should feel some small measure of regret for setting up Steve Austin the way I did, says Mr. McMahon, and maybe I would had he not rejected my plea for help and turned on me the way he did, but quite frankly, this was not a personal decision. This was a business decision. After putting Steve Austin Hogan in a steel cage title match on Raw, there was only one match I could think to follow that, a first blood match between Steve Austin and Rowdy Piper for the World Heavyweight title. And I'm sorry if Steve Austin disagrees with how I went about setting up that match, but unless his name is Vincent Kennedy McMahon, there's not a damn thing he can do about it. Alright, now the last thing here to show off is what happens if you lose to Rowdy Piper in this match.
I don't believe it. After all these years, Rowdy Piper has finally won the most prestigious title in this business.
Hot Rod's a master of picking his spots, Cole. It might have taken him a couple of decades, but he couldn't have picked a better time right here tonight. He busted the champ wide open, and now he's got the gold. It's as simple as that.
The outcome of this match may be simple, but the circumstances around it would still seem to leave a lot to be resolved.
I know what you mean. I mean, think about it. This all started when Mr. McMahon wanted to prove that the...
Okay, and here's the WWE Magazine article if Piper wins the first blood match and the title. Daddy's little devils, daddy's girl. Stephanie McMahon and her father, WWE Chairman Vince McMahon, have certainly had their fair share of family feuds over the years, so it wasn't exactly unexpected when Stephanie recruited Steve Austin to derail her father's Legends initiative more than a month ago. But the McMahon's true motivations were far more sinister, as they maneuvered Rowdy Piper into position to win the World Heavyweight title from Steve Austin in a first blood match on SmackDown. I've got to give all the credit to this plan to my dad, says Stephanie. He was the one who came up with the idea to have me send Steve Austin against his Legends. He knew that having the World Heavyweight Champion take on some of WWE's greatest superstars was money in the bank, especially if you set it up as a new school versus old school type of rivalry. And I don't know if you've seen the ratings for Raw and SmackDown over the past few weeks, but he was right, it worked like a charm. And while the McMahons and other WWE shareholders delight in the increased revenue that the record-breaking ratings brought in, the newly minted World Heavyweight Champion Rowdy Piper found an entirely different sort of satisfaction. I've waited for my entire career for this, says Piper. For years, I've watched superstars that didn't have half my talent wear this gold around their waist. And yeah, I'm talking about Steve Austin. He thought he was so smart, he thought he had all the answers. Well, funny thing is about that, you know what they say about the... Well, I'm glad that the song is blocking my title, Rowdy One. Just when you think you got all the answers, I change the questions. And now the final story to cover, Legends End. Okay, so really the major thing to talk about this storyline is the choice of whether or not to side with or against Mick Foley. So basically it all starts from this voicemail right here.
Hey, I hope you're doing okay after what happened on Raw. Sorry I couldn't get down there any faster, but I'm working with one good wheel these days. Anyway, I really appreciate everything you're doing, and I hope you kick the hell out of Rowdy Piper and Bam Bam Bigelow this week on SmackDown.
Alright, then you see, even though he didn't ask any questions, you can press A to proceed here. What type of match do you choose? I'm happy to take on a lowlife like Roddy Piper anytime. It's great to know that a guy like Mick Foley has got my back. You never know. It'd be really cool for me and him to team up with a guy like that one day, G. Willikers. Or you can choose the alternate option here. So when I actually play this, I sided with Foley. This is the side against Foley option. You know what? I'm tired of watching everybody's back all the time. I wouldn't even be in this mess if Mick Foley could fight his own battles. Mick Foley can stick his appreciation where the sun don't shine. There you go, and that locks you into the alternate path. Alright, now after the tag team match on SmackDown, if you choose to go against Foley, the WWE.com article is slightly different, so I want to cover that here. So Mick Foley to watch Paul Burchill versus Roddy Piper tonight. Despite the rumors of tension between him and Paul Burchill, Mick Foley will be in attendance at Raw tonight to see Paul Burchill face the man who may have ended Mick Foley's career 2 weeks ago on SmackDown. I'm not going to go into what's been said between Burchill and myself, says Foley. All that matters tonight is that Roddy Piper is going to get what's coming to him if Paul Burchill is even half of what he says he is. And I want a front row seat when it happens. I can't stop Mick Foley from buying a ticket, says Burchill, and honestly, I could care less if he's in the arena or not. As far as I'm concerned, he can gimp his way into the seat he paid for and watch as I take care of business that he left unfinished, just like I did with Bam Bam Bigelow last week on SmackDown. Alright, so another slight choice you get in the storyline is after Mick Foley attacks you on Raw after your match against Piper, you get a message from Bam Bam Bigelow here. So to Paul Burchill from Bam Bam Bigelow. I bet I'm just about the last guy you expected to hear from, huh? Well, I just heard about what you said on WWE.com, and I'm pretty steamed about it. It looks like Foley and Piper are looking for a fight, and you're fixing to give it to them. I know we haven't exactly been the best of friends lately. Hell, I hate you with the chair, and I'm not going to apologize for it. But we both got played for fools by these two, and I'll be damned if I don't get some payback of my own. You've got no reason to trust me, but I would like to work together with you Friday night. That is if you're up for it. Think about it. Bam Bam Bigelow. Alright, so when I originally played this, I denied Bam Bam's help to make the match harder. I don't think there's really much difference with this, but I'll go ahead and show you. Bam Bam Bigelow's right. I've got no reason to trust him, but I'm going to take out Mick Foley and Piper. I could use some backup. I accept his offer. There you go. If you accept, it becomes a tag match. And then here's a message from Vince.
Well, it looks like you've gotten yourself in quite a situation. It looks like this is the final showdown, which is too bad, really, because our ratings could be better. But if this has to be the finale, I've decided to make it a grand one. Tonight, you'll be settling this old-school grudge the old-school way in a steel cage match.
There you go, get the tag team match. And then here's the WWE.com article after Foley attacks you. Again, slight differences if you choose the path of not siding with Foley. Mick Foley, Roddy Piper reveal alliance. WWE fans around the world were shocked Monday night when longtime foes Mick Foley and Roddy Piper revealed that they had been working together to entrap Paul Burchill. 3 weeks ago on SmackDown, Mick Foley appeared to have suffered a career-ending injury at the hands of Roddy Piper and Bam Bam Bigelow, an injury that never actually existed. Bam Bam Bigelow had no idea what was going on, said Mick Foley, which is pretty much par for the course for that idiot. He didn't go easy on me with that chair shot, but I've had worse, and I've got to hand it to Roddy Piper. He hit that leg drop on the chair pretty good. For a second, he even had me convinced that he had broken my leg. But why would a beloved WWE legend like Mick Foley resort to such underhanded techniques? It's all about respect, says Mick Foley. It's all over the internet how Paul Burchill disrespected me a couple weeks ago. But it's not just him. I'm the biggest superstar in WWE history, and what does this company do? Trot me out for an exhibition match on SmackDown? Not even a pay-per-view. Me and Roddy Piper made this company. We should be running this show, not written off as some sort of sideshow special attraction. WWE.com reached out at home to Paul Burchill as he recovers from Monday's injuries and received the following response to Mick Foley's claims. If it's respect that Mick Foley's after, well, he's going to have to meet me in the ring on SmackDown this Friday and try to take it. Mick Foley, old man, this is not over. There you go, slight differences in the whether or not you respect or don't respect Foley, and it's honestly kind of disappointing, the choices in the story, because it's really not much difference at all. Just slight string differences, slightly different matches, that's about it. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get into the last part of this story. Alright, now you can see here when you choose to team up with Bigelow, it changes the match to a tornado tag steel cage, just like Vince said. Now, one thing to cover with this is since Bam Bam's here, he'll have entrance commentary that I didn't get to show off before because I originally chose the handicap match. So I'll show you that real quick, and then I'll show you what happens if Piper and Mick Foley end up winning the match.
And here comes a man who's got a little payback of his own to dish out. I mean, if they want to talk about being disrespected, they should walk a mile in this legend's shoes.
Yeah, he was a patsy, plain and simple. But come on, what was he expecting? Counting on Roddy Piper to win a match back? That doesn't exactly sound like the brightest career move, if you know what I'm saying.
Alright, now here is the WWE magazine if Piper and Foley end up winning the match on SmackDown. Now, not really much different, just slight string differences, but I figured I'd include it. So, Legendary Alliance. A matter of respect. When Mick Foley and Roddy Piper met in the main event of SmackDown, it was to be the greatest main event in the history of the brand. Two arch enemies facing off one more and possibly final match. Instead, what followed was a web of deception that ensnared one of WWE's top superstars. There's just no respect for the legends that built this company, says Piper. They put me and Mick Foley in a match together and called it an exhibition. An exhibition, not even a main event or a war to settle the score. Roddy Piper and I have never been the best of friends, says Mick Foley in the understatement of the decade. We spent most of our careers trying to beat the hell out of each other, but when I saw the kind of treatment we were receiving, I called him up and said we've got to do something about this. That something was a faked career-ending injury which led Paul Burchill to challenge Roddy Piper to a match in Retribution. I was surprised how much that bothered me, says Mick Foley. We knew someone would step up, but for someone like Paul Burchill to think I need his help, that he had to take care of business for me, it was insulting. Mick Foley and Roddy Piper revealed their partnership in a dramatic post-match assault on Paul Burchill, an assault that enabled them to defeat him the following Friday on SmackDown. I'm not going to make any excuses, says Paul Burchill. This is a rough business and their plan worked perfectly. They softened me up on Monday night and took me out on Friday, but they were looking for more respect out of this. They had a funny way of going about it. They might still be considered WWE legends, but I don't think anyone's going to look at them the same way ever again. Okay, so now for this part of the video, we're going to cover some of those unused storyline IDs, or I guess they're used. I don't know what you really want to call these, like miscellaneous storyline IDs. I kind of briefly talked about these in the intro, so here's the first one here. So I have it set up, we're going to begin our week. Season story title. So I guess that's some sort of placeholder. Now, when you force this storyline ID to load for season mode, it plays the GM cutscene, so I guess I'll include the cutscene even though we saw this in my GM playthrough.
No chance, so that's what you got. Up against a machine too strong. Pretty politicians buying souls for puppets.
Welcome everyone to the General Manager of the Year Award ceremony. Here to present the award is Vince McMahon.
Thank you, Lillian. Now let's get down to business, which is exactly what we are here to reward. Good business. With that in mind, there is someone in this ring who does not belong here. You have 5 seconds to get the hell out of my sight before I fire you. Now that we have taken out the trash, let's reward the competent general manager. Congratulations for a job well done. You are the General Manager of the Year. Keep up the good work.
Okay, so next thing I want to cover is the trade cutscene. So these are actually considered storylines in the game. So with a little bit of memory manipulation here, I'm able to force these storylines to load. Now here's the thing. You might say like these aren't unused because you see them in the game obviously when you get traded to the other brand. Well, here's the thing. Like when that happens in game, it loads a later chapter of that storyline, which is the cutscene you see it, and then it moves on to whatever the next storyline you get is. So if I force it to the beginning of the chapter of the trade storyline, we can see the unused title cards. So I'm going to show you that real quick. Now here, I'll say this though. Actually, I'll just show you. So here we go. So I'm going to begin my week. SmackDown to Raw trade. So this is that storyline. Now you'll notice here in a second, black screen, the game soft locked because there is nothing in the first chapter. So whenever this storyline triggers, it loads something later, so this title card never shows up normally in game. So I will include the trade cutscenes, even though technically, yes, we did see these in my playthroughs, but I figured why not? Let's just throw them in there. So here is the SmackDown to Raw trade, and then I'll see you in the Raw to SmackDown trade.
You wanted to see me, Teddy?
Absolutely, player. I've got some big news for you. Have a seat.
No thanks. I'd rather stand.
Suit yourself, dog. Now, I ain't gonna beat around the bush here. I'm just gonna come right out with it. You've just been traded to Raw.
What? What do you mean I've been traded?
Easy, easy. They really wanted you over there, player. You're exactly what they need to take Raw to the next level. And look, I'm not happy about losing a superstar of your caliber, but they made me an offer I just couldn't refuse. Believe that. They gave me everything except TV time on Monday nights to get your contract.
Well, I guess it's not hard to see why. And that WWE title would look great around my waist.
See? That's what I'm talking about. So thanks for everything you've done for SmackDown, player. And good luck to you on Monday Night Raw.
Good luck to me? Hey, no hard feelings, but you're the one who just traded away the best superstar in your brand. Let me wish you luck. Because now that I'm a Raw superstar, SmackDown's going to need it. Later, Teddy.
Okay, and now just for completion's sake here, I'm going to show you the Raw to SmackDown trade screen. Again, same thing like I talked about in the previous one of the SmackDown to Raw trade. I can force this title card in, but then from there I get the black screen. So, I mean, because there's nothing for the first chapter of this hidden storyline, if you want to call it that. So there you go, that is the trade storyline.
Here comes the money. Here we go. Money talk. Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
You wanted to see me, Shane?
Money, 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 money. Oh, hey, there you are. Just the guy I've been looking for.
Yeah, I got a message that you had something important to tell me. So what's the deal?
Well, I've got some very exciting news for you. Effective immediately, you've been traded from Raw to SmackDown.
Traded? What for? What, did I get on someone's bad side or something?
No, exactly the opposite. I represented Raw in this deal. And let me tell you, Teddy Long was willing to give up like half his roster to get you on SmackDown. He's convinced that a superstar like yourself, well, it's exactly what Teddy needs to take SmackDown to the top.
Well, I guess I can't argue with that. And I'd love a chance to wear that World Heavyweight title around my waist.
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened sooner rather than later. So on behalf of Raw, let me be the first to congratulate you on a new career as a SmackDown superstar.
Well, on behalf of SmackDown, let me be the first to offer Raw my condolences on officially becoming the #2 brand in sports entertainment. Later, Shano.
Things funny, been hood rats, the playboy bunnies. They see the
Okay, so another thing I figured I'd just include since I'm going all out with this video is what happens if you try to load an ID of a storyline where there's just nothing there. Again, you pretty much could guess what happens. It just shows a blank title card. So this could be a good template for putting your own stuff in here if you want. But there you go. So I put in the ID of the storyline, doesn't exist, and I just get that blank template of the storyline name. Now, of course, there's some of them that actually just straight up crash the game or give you a black screen, but in general, most of the time, that's what happens. So figured I'd include that. Okay, so next thing I want to cover here in this little bonus section is when you check all the storyline IDs, there's actually a duplicate of United We Stand. So check this out. I'm going to begin next week. I'm at the beginning of the chapter. United We Stand. The title card loads like normal. And immediately it takes me back here. So what's weird about this is each chapter of this storyline is just blank. So if I go to my locker room here, I'll have like no messages. There's nothing on WWE.com, no magazine articles, no matches ever trigger. So I'm kind of wondering exactly what this is. I mean, obviously I don't know for sure. one guess I would have, you'll see here, I'm gonna try to advance to the next chapter or next week as the game calls it, and then it just puts me right back here. I'll check locker room again, there'll be no messages. But my theory about this is, I wonder if there was initially a storyline in this ID and it got removed and it's just dummied out with United We Stand. Obviously I have no way of proving this, it's just a complete guess. We'd have to get like a prototype version of the game maybe, or that has season mode enabled, but even then, like, season's playing so far in advance, if this was a removed storyline, I don't see it getting very far. But I'll just show you here. I'll keep trying to go over the next week, and eventually, okay, right here, I'll hit the black screen. So this is basically a busted storyline that never gets used in game. So was it something removed? Was there something wrong with it? I don't really know, but I figured I'd just include it in the video. So the busted United We Stand storyline ID. There you go. Alright, and with that, here we are at the end of the video. So I really hope you enjoyed, and man, this was like I said, this was quite the process to make, but I truly enjoyed the process. I'm kind of curious how well this video is going to be received, if people are going to like it or not, because I think you can really, like, looking at my notes here, I think you can make the argument most of this video was just reading WWE.com articles and magazines and stuff like that, and some of them aren't really that substantial differences, like just slightly different, like string, if like string is in text, like if you win or lose and stuff like that. But like I said in kind of the intro here, this is something I really wanted to cover, and I knew it was going to be a tough task for sure, which is why this is basically the last planned bonus episode for this game. I kind of pushed this one off to the end, so this kind of closes the chapter or the book on my SVR 07 playthrough. And like I say in my playthroughs, they're never really fully complete. You never know, I could visit the game again if there's stuff I want to do, especially if prototypes leak online, stuff like that. But in terms of like the plans I make when I first start a playthrough, this was the last thing. So really hope you enjoyed the ride, and we'll see what games I get on to next, and I'll see you in the next video.